Ready. Hey guys, welcome to the Drift Podcast. I'm your host Travis.
And I'm Ben.
And today we have the one and only Luke Fink. And there's his big mug. And today we've got him on to talk a bit about the history of him going through from his start to where he is now, and Archerfield Drift, as well as his upcoming event with Adam LZ, of all people. So, and Ben even got an invite to drive for that event too, which is pretty cool.
I'm keen.
So, welcome, man.
Yeah, he has a cool car. So
Thanks, man.
Cool car, good attitude was our criteria. So
fair enough.
Awesome.
I don't know about the attitude part, but cool.
Cool in-car attitude.
Yeah. Okay, we'll go with that. So tell us a bit about yourself. We might as well just start off with how you even got into drifting back in the day.
I got into drifting sort of thanks to BMX friends, I guess, because I was heavily into BMX. Finally got my license at 22, turned up to the skate park in my VL and literally saw a mate with a 180 there, and I'm like, that's sick. And they told me about how they go out drifting and stuff, and I was like, yeah, for sure, I'm keen, I'll send it. And I literally just started drifting in my VL, and I guess it rapidly snowballed. Just lots and lots and lots of street. Hell of a lot of street. I was literally addicted every single night. Literally just, the whole jumping fences, getting second-hand tyres. Hey, I was tandeming with that guy the other day. Sorry.
Hell yeah.
The background video. I was tandeming with that guy. It's kind of funny. But, yeah, so just heavily into it, and then finally got a Jap car because the VL was automatic and I couldn't tandem with anyone because I had to go fast everywhere, which I think really helped in a way because you had to have a lot of flow, and you couldn't just use handbrake and clutch and all that sort of stuff to just fix your driving. You had to just commit. It didn't have a welded diff either, which didn't really help my case. But it was just, I had to go full speed, and I was at a point where I really wanted to, drive with the boys. So I got myself a Jap car, and then, again, same thing from there. And just by chance, ended up going to buy some parts from the guys down at Holford Motors, and struck up a relationship with those guys. He started out by giving me all these snow tyres that he pulls off his compliance cars, and I was going out streets getting the snow tyres. I would literally just skid out anything. I didn't care. But I was literally, the snow tyres had massive amount of tread on them, and I was like, yeah, sweet, can skid them for ages, sort of thing.
That's so weird.
Funnily enough, which a lot of people probably don't know, is snow tyres are dicey as fuck in the wet.
Yeah, right.
You just grab any gear you want in the wet with snow tyres on. So that's fun. And they don't give you any warning before they pop because they don't have wire in them. They're just threaded. So, when they pop loudly and wipe your car out as well.
Yeah.
But from there, and one day the guys from Holford's just sort of, while I was doing some tyres, were like, oh, come and check this out. We're getting a race car. And I just sort of jokingly was like, I'll drive it. Because I knew the guys, but they were sort of just giving me their tyres that they're meant to throw away by law, but they knew I was just going to destroy them anyway. I wasn't out to drive them on it was my daily, but I wasn't out, trying to be legal by any means. He wasn't too stressed on that, and I didn't really think anything of it because it was Drift Australia around at the time, and that's around the time that Ford just pulled out. So Adam Newton, who was one of the big guys back in the day from Full Lock, and various other pro drivers at the time were sort of out of cars or whatever. So I definitely didn't think anything of it, and the fact that I'd only even driven on track once, so I definitely didn't think much of it other than I built up a pretty strong name on the street because my car was a 32 four-door and I had the number plates D1 taxi, so I'd sort of get stopped at lights and various other things because people had heard of the car. Because when I say I was I was not joking. I was absolutely every single night, getting a couple of hours sleep, back to work, drifting all night, every night, all over Melbourne, whether it be east side, west side, north side, up in the mountains, industrial, it didn't matter. I just needed to skid. So it did get, obviously he was selling Jap parts. So, and then there was a small Holford sticker because I had actually bought that 32 four-door off of him. So people would often be like, oh, I saw that car out, sort of thing. So he was getting that relationship there going. Funnily enough, my dad went to buy a car off him while I was overseas riding BMX, and rang him up and he said, this guy wants you to drive his race car. He was confused as fuck because he just thought I went out and wrecked my car all the time. And it was literally Dom from Holford's asking me to drive the car, which is pretty dumb, really. Like, till this day, if you ask him, he can't give a good reason of why he asked a dumb street drifter to drive his race car and not a pro driver to drive his race car. But I guess it worked out, I guess. So
yeah, most definitely.
That's awesome.
That was my start, and that was all sort of within a year and a half. I lost my license for like 5 years as well.
Yeah, I was about to say, how did your license go through all of that if you were drifting every night?
Yeah, it didn't. It didn't. I lost my license while I was still driving the VL. Yeah. This was back in the day. This was 12 years ago. This was pre-Hoon laws. You get pulled over and the coppers would, are you doing burnouts? It's like, nah, mate, it's called drifting. So.
Oh, man.
Burnouts with style, all right?
Yeah, but this is totally when we were driving around. There was a group of us. I had a Cell 80. The rest of the boys had 180s, and I was original part of the Insane Drifters. And there was 6 of us with Insane Drifters down the side of our cars, like proper, I guess, Jab style, you know what I mean? Like, and we would get to set of lights, and all of us would drift through the lights and shit like that. Like, it wasn't even a care factor. It's just back then it just wasn't a thing, It wasn't policed as hard, and even remotely as hard as it is now. If you were 6 dudes driving around on 180 now with stickers down the side.
Yeah. No, you wouldn't even make it down your street.
No. So like
this was like what, around like 03, 04 was it?
Nah.
Or a bit later?
I'm older than that. This was like 06, 07.
Okay. Because when did Drift Australia go under? Because it was probably like, geez, it would have had to been like 09, 2010. Yeah. Okay. 09.
Yeah. Their last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, fair enough. So in Drift Australia, then, how did you actually end up going? Like, obviously, only having driven one track day prior to that, and just a lot of street. How did you go?
My very first round, because you had to petition and everything else, you had to it's basically they were screening people to make sure they could drive, and because it was all televised, they weren't complete drop kicks. They fucked up and let me drive anyway. But I got accepted to drive, and I was meant to drive at Eastern Creek. And literally 2 days after I got accepted, I broke the shit out of my ankle and had to turn around and be like, I can't make it now. So the first round we ended up doing was Tasmania, Symmons Plains. My ankle was still completely fucked. I was on crutches, and I had to I went to 6 or 8, I can't remember, different doctor surgeries before one would give me essentially a dodgy roadie. I was just hitting him up and said, look, all I need to do is drive this car around the track. I just need something that says I'm allowed to get in the car and drive it around the track. I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm not drifting. I'm just driving it around. It's just for a photo shoot, but they need to have me in the car, blah, blah. So I got one to just say that I'm okay to go in a car, and that was it. We're off to Tasmania. And it went, so we won. So it was definitely...
Oh, wow. With a busted up ankle, still won.
Yeah, that was probably... It's one of those things, especially coming from a VMX background. It's like, I knew that once I got in the car, it'd be fine. It was just the getting in the car bit was really, really hard.
Yeah, especially with a shitload of practice under your belt on street too, they'd have to help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were like different times as well. Like the car I was driving was just like a S14 that was light with a SR T5187. You know, it was only sort of like 280 horsepower sort of thing, and using 3.5 Federals.
Yeah.
So it was definitely, there was a lot of guys running a shitload more power. Actually, everybody was running more power.
Oh, really? There was still big power back then.
Oh, 100%, man. A lot of the guys were running over 500 sort of thing.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah,
that's impressive.
like most, I would say, were running sort of at least 400 plus.
Yeah, right. Because I remember reading like your high performance import magazines, and it was like 300 horsepower R32 Skyline, and you're like, ooh, cool.
No, definitely through all the Drift Australia days, because I used to I went and watched some full lock events even before I got into cars. I actually went and watched a full lock event.
Yep.
I would say back then it was mostly sort of wow if you had a 300 horsepower car, but by the time Drift Australia came around, there were so many guys running 30-26 combos, like pretty much.
Wow. Huh.
I know there was a lot of like tough SRs as well, actually, from D1 Garage in SA. Like those boys were running, pretty stout SRs. Danny Vahumis was, even back in the full locks days, was running over 500 horsepower out of an SR.
Yeah,
and then you've got what's his name from up here? You used to have a Sylvia.
There's a lot of people
Asian
that used to have Sylvia. That doesn't narrow it down, man.
No, he drove in full lock and Drift Australia a bit and stuff. I forget his name though. He had a S13 with an S14 front.
Okay.
But that was like a 500 horsepower SR as well, because he used to just mince 25 boxes because he was very rough.
Mince 25 boxes? Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Because they would have been fresh back then.
Boxes. Yeah, we used to kill 25 boxes with the Holford's car with the SR.
Really?
So,
shit.
Yeah, once you're running 265s and stuff, it's sort of...
Yeah.
Even 25 box can't handle that.
Yeah.
We used to... Yeah, one event we did like 3 boxes, and it was just because it was just snapping the gearbox on the transition of the bank, so it was obviously just getting a lot of grip as the car bounced through the dip and would just shatter the box.
Yeah, far out. That's insane.
But yeah, there was still quite a few guys back then. I remember there was the Martini R33, and he was like, he was easily 600 horsepower. That thing, he used to just dump it in 4th gear off the line, and the WA guys, when they came over, they all had heaps of power. Yeah, they all had 600 sort of thing, so they were all mental, those cars.
I remember all of the Pier cars as well. I haven't seen them in years, or not even a photo of them in years, but there was 3 of those guys that were all a team as well. Yeah, so it was Darren Appleton, Leighton Fine, and then Yates had his car painted up as a Pier car as Yates was in that as well.
Yeah,
yep. Yeah,
right. That's cool.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, old school guys as well, you know.
Yeah, actually, the Go 180, which was the one that Darren drove, which ended up with a VQ or VG motor in it, and he was using that at Drift Australia. I actually saw that car recently down in Tasmania.
Oh, wow.
So it's still running that same engine combo, and I heard it, and I was like, and I sort of looked at the bonnet thing, and I was like, I'm sure that's 180 Go, and I went and spoke to the guy, and he's like, oh, yeah, I got it off Darren Appleton. And I was like, that's nuts.
Whoa.
Down in Tassie.
Still around.
That's cool as.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a bit of drifting history.
I wouldn't be surprised if Darren's still got the One View. It was only the One View was definitely basic, and Leighton Fine did a sick job at driving that car.
Nah, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's
awesome.
Far out.
So you can ask next.
Before we go any further into that, what were the top 5 drift cars you've owned in your time? Because
myself?
Yeah, yourself. Your cars, your top 5 favorite ones, because I know you've had a few.
Or driven, maybe
driven.
You didn't own them and you've just driven them.
I think my all-time favourite would be my old green 86.
Okay.
Which I'm not sure if you saw the Wreckin' video.
The Wreckin' video? Yeah. That was pretty cool.
Street one. That was my Street 86. I had that thing for a good amount of time. Went through, I think, 7 4-ages in that car.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot of 4-ages.
That's a lot of 4-ages.
T50s and
all?
Yeah,
but it rained No, never did boxes. It was literally just running I just kept on running the engines out of oil.
Oh, okay.
Okay. That'll do it.
Yeah,
It's
classic
wet.
4H problem.
It's a wet night in Melbourne. It's cold. It's cold and wet. Like, you're not stopping for anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Except for maybe checking your oil, which I didn't do and would constantly blow them up. And two of those were 7AGs as well.
Yeah, right.
The first one was a 7 age, and then we did another 7 age, and I was like, no, this is dumb. Just kept putting 4 ages in, and because I'd blown so many, I had a forward-facing small port and big port intake manifold.
Yeah, nice.
So I could just pick up any 4 AG I wanted because, I just needed to get going again because it was my daily driver. So if I go out and pop it, it was like, okay, cool. You got an hour put aside. You can swap the motor in that thing. So
yeah, that's it. That's a good thing about them is everything's super simple.
Yeah, definitely. Probably the old 32 four-door that I sort of made my name, I guess. In streeting, I definitely... it was just a 20... Well, I ended up putting a 25 in it. It was only a basic car, but I guess that is probably my second favourite just because of the experiences in that car. Like, I did all kinds of dumb shit in that thing. Like, I left for an event in Sydney... So I can't even remember why, but it was like 11 o'clock at night. Me and my mates thought it'd be a good idea to drive to Sydney for a drift event that was on the next day. And we literally cannonballed at Sydney, and we're there at Eastern Creek at like 7 in the morning, ready to go. One mate didn't make it because he got pulled up, but the other two of us did. I don't know, just a lot of experiences and dumb and good shit happened in that car. So
Hells yeah.
that one would definitely be a favourite. I fucking love my 350Z convertible.
Yeah,
I don't know why I've got convertibles at the moment, but I know that people on the internet have been going on about those cars, but they're just fucking strong, man. I can hit anything I want in that car, and you'd be more worried about everything else you hit because you can't break it.
See, I was speaking to Andy about 350Zs at Power Vehicles in November because I'm like, look, I mean, if I blow up my 32, I'm like, man, I'd just go out and buy a 350Z or a V35 over here. He's like, no, I wouldn't touch them. They're slow junk. Fucking can't even make it up the hill. I'm like, man, pretty sure Luke drives that thing pretty hard at Archie. Like, and tracks are pretty similar at Ebisu to Archie, so... I don't know. Maybe he just drove a dud. I don't know.
Yeah, he probably drove a dud because I don't know. I had an NA S14 the first time I went to Ibisu and shit was wicked.
Yeah.
I don't know. You're not drifting up the fucking hill, are you? You're just driving.
Yeah, that's it. I've only got a stock RB20 R32 and it's like more than enough for over there,
Yeah.
I think a 350Z would be pretty similar to that.
Yeah. Well, last time I went drifting there, I actually borrowed Dave from JPP's S13, which was just T25 Sylvia.
Yep.
And I was actually driving with Andy, and he was in his big car, one of his bigger power cars, and I don't know, I was definitely sitting on his door with only, 215s and a T25 is like plenty.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just depends what you want to do, I guess. If you want to do big burnout power skids, it's going to... Yeah, that's what you need. I can't see any reason why a 350 wouldn't be good for Ibisu.
That's what I reckon.
NA doesn't get hot. You're not going to use as many tires.
They got a strong gearbox, strong diff, good suspension setup, easy off-the-shelf parts. It's new and not
when
flogged
you hit
out.
something, you just break your wheels and not your LCAs. You literally
or if you hit someone else, you break their car, not your car.
Oh, man. So everybody knows that 31s are tanks, yeah?
Yeah.
And nothing. I've destroyed a couple now. I had a D-bead in front of my mate who hit me dead with the right-hand front corner of his car directly into the middle of the front of the 350Z, and I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm like, it's going to be fucked. He backs away with the 31, and I'm looking at the front of the 31, the bonnet's bent up, headlights out, fucking Rio's all pushed in, and I'm like, oh, God. And I just reverse back. No steam's coming out of the 350, so I'm like, that's a good start. And my bumper was just cracked. I was going to crack at my bumper. I was like, what the fuck? It's ridiculous. And even just the other day, I had another friend in a 31, and funnily enough, I gave him the 31 he was driving, but he got a weird bounce off of the bump and just like really fast whipped around, and I hit him on full lock with my left front wheel directly into where his headlight is. Again, pushed his reel up, smashed his headlight out. His bonnet got pushed up, quarter pushed up a little bit. I'm just expecting, tie rod gone, LCA, everything, which would normally be gone in your Nissans. Do you know what I mean? You normally would fuck everything.
Yeah.
I just reversed back, gave it a little wiggle. I'm like, it feels mint. I kept skidding. And then I was like, because I'd only just put a fresh front quarter panel, and I'm like, how's the quarter panel on the radio to the boys? And they're like, yeah, the quarter panel's pretty fucked, but it looks like it's driving fine. And I was like, the car feels fine, but I was still pissed off about the quarter. But like I said, if that happened in, anything else, you would be literally doing caster rod, brackets, caster rod, LCA, tie rod, probably coilover. Like, it was a decent hit. And they just, I don't know, man. It doesn't make sense to me either. Like, I literally have stopped using my cooler back wheels because I've wrecked like a fair, I wouldn't say a fair few, but I've definitely wrecked a couple wheels now on the back of that car, because that's the only thing. They're quite short behind the wheels. So you go to like run a wall or whatever, if you don't have enough angle, you'll hit the wheel. So I've had that a couple of times, and instead of like bending an LCA like a normal car would, it just smashes wheels. So I've gone back to using I just bought 6 350Z wheels, and I was like, well, they'll be as strong as the car. I'll just probably break the wall now. But I was literally just sick of, like, I threw a lip off the car. I've thrown lips off the car a couple of times, and I was just like, I'm sick of doing this to kind of nice wheels. I'll just put some spaces on, so they at least come out to the guards and just run the stock wheels on the back. And it seems to be doing the trick, because I bounced the back off the wall a little bit just before I left for Japan. And it's funny, you see in the video, you see it hit, and you're like, any other car, just Nissan, Toyota, whatever you want, would have bent the LCA. 100% would have bent the LCA. And it just doesn't. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. They're just too strong.
Well, there you go. To anyone listening that's looking at getting a new chassis, just buy a 350Z.
By the sound of it, I'm just going to buy a 350 next day.
Yeah.
Man, they're cheap. And especially as like a practice car, they're just wicked. I think it's just one of those things, though. If you did want to go more power down the line, that's where they're restrictive. Because, there's not a cheap, you can't just wind the boost up, and you can't just chuck a new turbo on or whatever. So that side of it, you're limited. But I tell you what, once the 370s come down in price, you won't need any of that.
Really? Are they pretty quick?
Fuck, they're quick.
Really?
Like, fast. Yeah.
Interesting.
Like, they'll easily turn third gear, not a problem in the world, with 265s on. Yeah.
Really?
Well,
they're quick. I got to test drive one at work. They're quick, eh?
Yeah. Fuck.
Oh, yeah. They're savage. There's a guy that drives at the track quite a bit, and he's got wires, fab, and coilovers.
Yeah, right.
And that thing is fast. It's a really fast car.
Yeah,
that's
and it's still still full weight. So it's still full weight. So definitely as a stock car or even a practice car, like you can get one that's been like rear-ended or something. I think he paid $9,000 for his. So
that's cheap for something that's reliably going to turn third, though. Like that's cheap for a relatively ready to go car.
Yeah, like that thing will chalk the tires in third. It's not like a momentum third. It's the actual banging into third and smoke the tires. It's super impressive, and they're very grippy in stock form because, like I said, the guy that drifts the track a lot, he has all stock arms in the rear. And just like I think a factory rear alignment in it, and he was keeping up with a lot of pro cars because he ended up driving in cash kings with a lot of peer pressure. And we sort of made him enter, and he made it to the top 8. And he's not a super experienced driver. He's just been driving Archie a lot. And then that thing was I couldn't believe how fast it was against pro cars. You know what I mean? Like obviously we have the time, so everyone was sort of on a 235, but it was very impressive to see how fast the stock car was. It was literally wires, fab, and coilovers. That's all it had. It still had this full stock exhaust system. I don't think it even had pod filters at the time.
Wow.
So
that's nice.
Very cool car.
That's cool as. Hells yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
On to number 4.
Oh.
Sorry. I was getting carried away.
Yeah.
But that's why that car is fun.
Yeah.
I guess the most of the reason a car is good car is like the experiences you have with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I really like my S13 convertible, the LS stupid one that I've got now, is no doubt going to be one of my favourites, but right now it's like not. I've just been to some nuts in it, so
Yeah.
I guess I need, it's about the good times that come along with the car. So I guess after that would be the S14 that I used in the what's that video called? Drift something. There was a video that Ignition did. Not Ignition, but Andrew Hawkins did it.
Motive
and it was
DVD.
like a drift.
Oh,
Yeah, and it was just the drift one, and it was us just doing sort of essentially just freestyle drifting. Doing
Was
a
it a street car or was it a?
Yeah, S14 street car.
Is
Literally
that like that
choppy.
purpley maroni coloured one that had the carbon fibre guards on the back of it?
Yeah,
Yeah, my mate bought
it
that.
was that one. That went in. Yeah, they had quite a few different levels, I guess. When I first got it and we did the Motive DVD thing, I sold that green 8.6 I had because I was moving. That's when I moved to Queensland, and I was like, I'm not moving to Queensland without a car with air conditioning. So I sold the S14 because it had air conditioning. But it was good. It had like 320 horsepower. Actually, that was about it. DVD player and a air conditioning that worked. So
well, all the essentials right there.
Yeah.
I did the essentials, which was cut the springs and block the blow-off valve.
Yes.
And I think I got the stock wing and I smashed out underneath the stock wing and then flexed it to the boot, so it looked like a super-made boot. I didn't have the money for a super-made boot wing, so that was the closest we could get.
Nice.
So that car was, dicey on choppies, and we did that event with the choppies and not a proper LSD. But then, it went through a lot of transformation up here in Queensland. I went full carbon wide body at one stage, carbon bonnet, carbon boot, like I said, a full wide body. I had 19 by 13s on the back and 18 by 10s front, canards and everything. I drove it around in Queensland with no rego for a year. Never pulled over. I don't know how. I have no idea how. I literally had Victorian custom plates with no rego for over a year.
They probably just weren't even able to check it back
Yeah,
then.
they were just like, Victorian place, we're just not going to bother.
Yeah.
No, I'm fairly sure that's why. And then I went and got a roadworthy for it. Literally exactly what happened. My dad said would happen. I got literally done going to get it registered. I actually went there and they wanted more ID, so I drove to the fucking bank to get more ID, and I got pulled over in front of the bank for no red, defected. But I still went back and registered it, and then I got a letter like later on saying it's defective, and I just had to get another roadie. But it was
another roadie.
Yeah, another roadie. But that car was definitely fun. It went through a lot of different stages. I ended up going genuine Works 9 with that car.
That would have been so cool.
Dave from JPP ended up getting a Works 9 kit in, and I ended up painting it. There was a custom House of Colour paint job on it from a friend down in Sydney, it ended up like a pretty nice car. And I ended up just selling it to clear some debt.
Yeah.
But that car was a lot of fun. Definitely some good times. I even did some time attack with that car.
Hells yeah.
Again, a lot of streeting and just overall like a really fun car. And I can't believe I thought Queensland was literally the best place in the world because I was driving this retarded car around and I never got pulled over.
Not now.
And then I was like meeting people in Queensland that were saying how, it's so hard. We get defected and all this shit. It's like, you motherfuckers go down to Melbourne.
Yeah.
I used to get defected when I was in McDonald's eating. They would defect my car outside while I wasn't even in it. So,
welcome to Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because they knew you were watching them, they'd make a real big like scene of it as well. Because they'd put it in a little pouch and then they'd like slap it on your windscreen. And, but
oh man.
I guess that, and then I don't know.
Your SR86?
Nah,
Nah, not a fan.
that's in the naughty corner.
Fair enough.
And I bent all the valves.
Oh.
So that's
At World Time Attack or after?
No, back up here in Queensland. So I went to a morning session, got like 4 laps in, and it actually turned out a adjustable cam gear bolt fell out and went down into the timing chain.
Oh.
So just like a super duper unlucky. Yeah. So that car's on the shit list, if anything, right now.
How did it drive? Before it caused all the issues, how was it to drive?
That car is wild.
Yeah.
Like, because Jack Shanahan drove it at World Time Attack, he's like, that car is fucked. He's like, it's easily as fast as his S14 back home.
Yeah, right.
But he's like, because it doesn't have power steering or anything, and it just bucks you around. He's like, it's so much more wild.
Yeah.
And it is. You cannot drive that car with you have to really, really drive the shit out of it. It's super fun.
Yeah.
So, it was lifting wheels on 195 radials.
Yeah.
So once you put the semis on it, it's genuinely retarded, that car. So
Jesus.
It is fun, but it's broken now, so it can get fucked. But I got the Shockworks in my cars, and those guys, especially just before World Time Attack as well, revalved the rear. Yep. And that car is stupid fast.
What kind of spring rates is it running in the rear to be so grippy?
Don't know. He fixed it.
Yeah,
he did it.
Yeah, fair enough.
He's a magician, and he comes down and he's got his little table and he revalves and does a lot of stuff. I think it's mostly in the valving.
Yes.
Because the car just it doesn't bounce at all. It just sits
that's good.
Yeah, very, very nice setup.
Yeah, one day when I get the money, I'll go Shockworks in my A86 for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So can you think of a number 5, or will we go to the next question?
What
about a car that's not yours? What's a car you wish you had that you could say was yours that you've driven?
I've been really fortunate to drive a lot of cars overseas, but I wouldn't say any have been really good.
Yeah.
Pardon?
Shots fired.
I guess. No, what did I drove? I drove this Safiro in Thailand, which was wild.
True.
Like an 800 horsepower, 2J sequential. No, it was 5-speed. Sorry, but it was a dog box. With NOS and stuff, and it was super light. Like, the car felt like it weighed nothing. And that thing was pretty wild because I'd never driven anything over sort of 500 or 600 horsepower, and I jumped in this Safiro that was on 285 Hankook RS3s, and this guy's put heaps of development into his suspension and everything else, and I was like literally first lapping that car back into it in, and I was like, fuck, this thing is sick. So that was a good experience.
Okay. How was it drifting in Thailand? I'm interested to know because it's not really covered at all for English speakers.
They have a lot of coverage, but it's just a language barrier that you wouldn't really necessarily bother watching. Yeah, I guess it's pretty high level. Yeah. Honestly, it's high level, but then it's one of the countries where there's not.
What are their tracks?
They'll just brake check the shit out of you.
Yeah,
like the guy that I got knocked out against had heaps more power than I was running, bigger tires. His car was mental, and I ran into him I think 8 or 9 times in one run, and I was in a freaking. This was on that same trip, but I was in a different car that I was competing in. But it was like a 1J with a bolt-up, bigger turbo. It was maybe 400 horsepower. And I was just running into this guy every transition. I was just running into his doors, and I wasn't lifting because I couldn't. If I lifted, the car would have straightened. So I was just keeping pinned every time. But it was just it was literally ridiculous. I was like, you need to go. I think I actually ran that guy after the finish line as well. It really pissed me off. I hate brake checkers.
Yeah.
So that was that was a lesson, though. I guess you take it as a lesson.
Yeah.
You know that they're like that now, and if I go back and compete there, I just wouldn't. Well, I just make sure they know in the pits beforehand that they do break jack and I smash into them.
And whereabouts else have you drifted in the world? And I know you've been to Ireland. That was a pretty big event for at least to get your name out there worldwide. I would say, like, a lot of people I think know you from that.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because like I went over to Europe first time in 2010.
Okay,
and did Drift All Stars series, and I actually won that series that year. And then I've been going over every year since for one thing or another, where it be the Drift All Stars or other events. But it was just sort of the IDC was really ramped up their media coverage that year. Yeah, it definitely worked. I just, Irish are extremely proud people, so I just sort of created a character that would just
annoy them.
But you know what I miss so much about D1 is like, it wasn't necessarily the driving, it was the characters.
Yes. Yeah.
And even now,
you got to put on a show.
Samurai, 100%, and you see like Samurai now, it's like he's still that fucking guy. Like, it's so cool that they've just created a character, and and I just portray an arsehole well. So. No, it was just I knew any Irish mates you've got, like, they're so easy to wind up with, under the Irish. So it was definitely an easy choice. Yeah, knowing that sort of winding up my Irish mates all the time and stuff like that. So going over there, knowing that I can wind them up really easy, and they bite like crazy, like me. And even throughout, because we were doing the what's it called? It was called Drift All Stars or whatever. They keep changing their name.
Yep.
But I was traveling the whole season with James and Nigel Colfer and stuff like that, and then I'd put up stuff about how they're idiots, and then like the next thing I'd put up was like me and Nigel arm in arm having a drink together, you know what I mean? Like that sort of wedding photo, and so many people like, don't you fucking hate that guy? It's like, well, no, it's just, I'm like, we're just having a laugh. Like it's just cool. It's fun. So many people, just so conflicted by it and all that sort of jazz. But like the views and the amount of media attention that IDC were getting from it, it sort of made things work out quite well, because like at the end of the day, they need to get their money's worth out of having a guest. And I don't go. I guess I've been doing it for a while, so I don't go, all the way to somewhere like Ireland to do very little practice. And not a lot of driving for free, because it's so far to go, and it's not. It's a big comp where they have Pro-Am and they have Pro Sport class and then the main class. Like, you literally go all the way to Ireland and do like 8 laps for practice and qualifying total.
Wow.
And then however far you get in battles. So it's more about just the sort of media side of it and having a good laugh.
Yeah, make the most of it, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. But other than that, I've kind of been all over doing the Drift All Stars stuff. So did Estonia, Poland, Lithuania. Been all over. Basically, I've drifted, I wouldn't say most countries in Europe, but a fairly big chunk of Europe I've done events at. So I've done an event up in the French Alps, a Togay event.
Wow.
Oh yeah, that would have been cool.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to win that one as well. That was like super rad. We had to like stop when the clouds blocked the course and stuff like that.
That would have been insane.
We were 5,000 feet up. We were above most of the clouds, but then occasionally you'd get like the clouds that would come in, and we'd have to like wait for the cloud to clear because it was like super thick fog.
Wow.
Extremely cold. It was literally up at a ski resort, so it was basically a road entering into a ski resort, and we finished off in like the ski resort car park. It was very cool.
That's really cool. Hell yeah.
Very cool event.
What would you say is your most memorable event then that you've done, with how many you have done? Is there any that like really stick with you that you go, man, I want to go do that again one day or something?
Oh, say honestly, there's been
a lot.
Yeah, because I don't know. I guess I've been really lucky.
Yeah.
To go to a lot of like pretty sick places to go drifting. Yeah, I guess there's places like Yas Marina, which is like an amazing place and everything, but there was literally zero vibe there. It was such a like, I don't know, man. Like I can't explain it. It's like the most perfect track. There was like this big event where we had all these sick cars there, and there was like 10 people in the crowd. And then the event, not because of the event, the guys that were running the event, but because of the circuit people, like they would let one car go, and that car would need to complete the entire lap of the drift circuit, and then get back into where they cross over before they'd let another car go. And then like car recoveries if someone crashed took like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's this place that was amazing, and for every sense of the word, should have been an amazing experience, but it just was kind of shit because we just did a lot of like not driving.
Yeah.
I think if it could have been ran in a different way, you would have had just a super good time. But competition wise, there was an event we did in the UK, literally in 2010, and it was at not Liddon Hill. It was an old F1 track. But we weren't using the part that literally using the part they used to use for F1 like 100 years ago.
Wow.
So it was this steep uphill into a forest, essentially. It was all overgrown guardrails and stuff, and we're drifting through this forest. And we ended up with like a really big crowd there, and just the course was fucking amazing. And then when you got to look back at this super old footage of F1 cars, like super old F1 cars back in the day, literally like getting airborne over this hill we were driving on and stuff, and it was just like, that probably is definitely a good one. Up there as far as like super good vibes, had a good time, good driving, and everything else. So yeah, I'd say somewhere like that's cool because it's definitely good. And then like, Eastern Europe is definitely crazy because we did an event there which was on the street. We started off, you literally click third, flick it, and then you drift across a bridge into another section.
Oh yeah, I saw the video from that. That was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got that, and that like it was a wild event. There was tens of thousands of people. Like everyone sort of comes out for the event, and the track was fucking ridiculous. Like drifting over a bridge. You couldn't write about it. You couldn't even imagine doing that. So I think that those sort of experiences are cool. And then again in Eastern Europe, at Estonia, we were drifting on a rallycross track where there was a jump on the initiation, and then another really like steep part in it, and so it's sort of very extremely different. You know what I mean? I think those things stand out a lot more than just drifting on Silverstone and things like that, which in their own way are cool, but like it's just another circuit where this stuff was like crazy.
Yeah, like next level out there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, cool. We'll go for the next question. A quick one. Do you really think that it's helped you going to all these tracks all over the world and experience them all? Do you think that's really helped you to develop Archie into what it is now, as far as the design and changes that you've made to Archie? Do you reckon that it's definitely been a big help, or do you think it's more just that's what you've always envisioned kind of thing?
Well, there's definitely influence because I put a freaking Nico drop in the track.
Yeah, well,
but yeah, like obviously we don't have a lot of space to work with there, so it's just most of the motivation there is just absolutely maximizing the amount of space we have.
Yeah,
and then where I can is sort of adding in those little bits that I enjoy watching or enjoy driving in person. So I really like the Behoku style entry where it's sort of, as the wall finishes, you flick in. So we semi-replicated that with the front straight, which was sort of the first thing I really wanted to do, which I just, sort of looked at it and I thought it could work, and then sort of cashed out and put that asphalt in, and then it just worked so good. It was just like a dream come true getting that in, and then we got Nico to drop in, and then the first time going into there and lifting wheels, it was just like, it was just so cool that we can actually make it happen. And I guess just that it was happening, you know what I mean? Like, definitely not to bag out QR. Like, I still have a lot of fun going into a morning session, but like, they've been taking drifters' money for 10 plus years now and not done anything to help drifting, essentially, you know what I mean? Like, you could chuck another corner in here or there and it just wouldn't be 3 to 6 anymore, I guess. So, which, whatever, like, it's not a drift track, you know what I mean? It's a V8 supercar track, and any changes they do will affect the V8 supercars, and that's worth more than any of the drifter stuff. So I can 100% see where they're coming from, but it's just like, it'd be kind of cool, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it.
Add an extra corner in there, or just something little, I guess.
Just change it up a little.
A little, like, thank you for, spending all this money here.
Changing that? I swear I saw like a plan like a year or two ago.
I don't think it'll happen.
You don't think it'll happen?
Yeah. From what Neil was saying, that would never happen, basically. Okay. It's just sort of the council trying to act like they're doing something.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
That was more what I heard too.
Yeah, and to be fair, if they did change it the way they're talking about it would literally ruin it for drifting, because it would, like, how's anyone going to get a photo without corner 6?
Well,
there's going to be no corner 6 bake photos if they change the circuit the way they were changing it. And some things like that. So, look, I'm not, definitely not trying to bring it down. I still love going to QR on a morning session. Enjoy a morning session. I'm definitely not a Friday night guy, and I sort of, there's a bit too much lining up for me at Matsuri. If you could do just Sunday entries for Matsuri, I'd be all over that, because most people's cars are written by then.
Yeah, it's just an expensive event to just drive Sunday and Saturday night.
Exactly.
Yeah. Saturday nights are good there, though, because there's no one. As soon as the sun goes down, no one's out.
Well, if the weather plays ball.
Yeah, just go for it. I'm just going to go grab my phone charger. If you want to ask him the next question.
Sweet as, man. Go for that.
A short track. But no, so I guess just getting to be able to get money coming through the gate, and then, turn that into the track being cooler, I think it's just been a really solid accomplishment, you know what I mean? And it's just, we actually have something, like, drifters actually have something in Queensland that's ours. We can make it cooler and essentially do it our way. So it's been fun, it's been scary and all that sort of stuff, but it's definitely cool. I don't even remember what the question was.
No, I don't remember. Trav went off on a tangent, but 100%, man. Like, Archie's become one of my most favorite places to drive now. So, like, I enjoy going there more than QR. I still love QR, but just Nico drop and Behoku entry is just beyond cool.
No start line.
No start line's amazing. It's like, it was great in the 8.6, so you just never overheat. You just drive until the tires blow up and then you drive off track, and it's like, sweet.
Yeah, but that's also why it works so well as well, because most guys will use tires, or their car will get hot within sort of 5 to 10 laps. So you're on and off reasonably quick anyway, so the track never really ends up very crowded or
except for that 8.6 day when we had like a 40 car train going at one point.
Yeah, but when you say that there were times out there was literally like 2 guys on track. Yeah, so it's like, even we had like 43 cars that night.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it was a big.
Because I've changed, that'll be the last time that ever happens, because I sort of put I put making the track better in the way of getting more drivers there. So I figured that made more sense. So we can comfortably fit like 32 cars now, which, I don't know, it's so difficult to run a business and then be a drifter as well, because I'm like, I just want the fucking track to myself. Like, I wouldn't want to come here and drive any more than 20 guys. Like, fuck it, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I need to freaking pay the bills as well. So it's like, okay, cool. We can't just block off all the pits and have more track. We've got to actually have pits here. So
yeah.
Trust me, it's extremely difficult, man. Like, you just want to go nuts. I guess it's like modifying a street car but not being able to do it too much because you still got to drive it on the street, and it's so frustrating because you're like, but I could do all this cool shit. But you got to think that.
That's literally Ben's life.
Yeah, let's not go there.
That's the best way I can relate it to a bunch of people like us, is like, you just want to go nuts, but
you can't.
You got to hold back your stuff and make it realistic, and keep
Budgets.
it as long as we can, because we're here as long as the speedway is. So as long as the speedway's around, Archie Drift Park's around. So there's, to be fair, like if there was any sort of contract or any way of the council getting off our back and just saying you've got 10 years or whatever, like I would be resurfacing that place, I would be asphalting the pits, and that's the thing which a lot of people don't know, is that any money I spend there, I don't get that back. So if I was to go out and spend 40 grand on asphalting the pits, and then later this year the speedway track closes, like we close.
That's 40 grand down the drain.
I'm not starting a GoFundMe and shit to try and get money back that we just spent, or wanting to be paying off a loan that for a business that no longer exists. So, I did, in the first year I took the place over, we spent $100,000 on repairs and extensions, all that sort of stuff.
Man,
literally 100 grand.
Whoa,
just over 100 grand. When you included all the concrete work, asphalt work, earthworks, and all that we did. So. It really adds up fast, and definitely a lot of lessons learned and all that sort of jazz. It was just, I guess the other guy that was running the place sort of legged it at prime time, but I didn't know that, I didn't know the track was falling apart when I took it over. So it was just one of those things. I guess if I knew what I knew now, I probably would have resurfaced it back then. Just resurfaced the whole track, but you couldn't foresee the future, and even now, there's things I would love to do, but it's like, well, you don't know, you know what I mean? I guess it's, I guess to relate it back to car stuff, it's like you don't really want to go driving around a hectic car when you're on your last defects impound that'll get your car taken away for good. It's like,
which is almost.
I want to sort of go.
No.
There you go.
So I'm sure that people have a lot of misconceptions about how you run or own the track. I'm not sure which one it is, whether you own it as well as run it. But can you just hop out on track whenever you want, or do you have to literally wait until an event day?
Nah, I'm in the same boat as everybody else because of the noise restrictions, and that was the funny thing about building the car that I built at S13. Like, people are like, oh, you don't have a fucking muffler, and why does everybody else have a muffler? It's like, I'm not driving that fucking car in Archie. To be honest, my dad passed away last year, and I got it was money that was given to me from my dad, and I just wanted to build a dumb car for myself. I've always wanted, this sort of dumb car. I've driven a lot of these big powered race cars and things like that, and it's like fucking, just sort of seeing where they all go wrong and wanting to sort of do it myself. That's all that car was. It wasn't a
That's a good memoir as well, to your dad too. And
it was just something, to just do things like summer nats, because that's been a bucket list, is doing summer nats, and just generally doing a fucking burnout. I just want to have this dumb car. I've got my 3Z and I've got my stupid 86, which should work but doesn't. But you know what I mean? I've got those cars, and when the 86 is going, I can drive that at Archie. I've got muffler for it and everything else, and my 350Z, I can send laps all night long and still keep up with fast cars. They're not a problem in the world. To me, it doesn't even make sense to drive that car at Archie anyway. To be fair, I wouldn't mind cutting a couple laps in it, but I made it dumb, so I can't. So that's it. You know, I made that decision. It was a conscious decision. It wasn't like, oh fuck, oh whoops, I can't fit a muffler in here now.
But I'm sure there's a lot of people.
Yeah,
you go. Yeah.
Just like it wasn't an accident to put that fucking 4-inch exhaust out the side of the car. You know.
Yeah. That's it.
Fuck it. Look, it just slipped out. You know, like it fucking was a decision. So yeah,
I'm sure there's a lot of people that just literally sit there and go, "Oh, you run the track, you can just hop out there whenever you want." You know, like why are you complaining that you can't drive? You know, when and blah blah blah.
I wish.
Yeah. There'd be people out there complaining, man, like 100%. You know, but
I wish. That's unfortunately it's even the noise stuff, and I've even talked a bit to the landlord about, which is the Speedway. The Speedway is my landlord, so I run the business. Essentially, it's I rent the land from them, but I'm still under the. So the way it works is that there's a permit for our land, the land that we're on, and the land includes the Speedway and the drift park, and that's the permit we're under. So that's why they have a lot of say over noise and things we do as well.
Yeah.
So that side of it, we are restricted, and even things like, like I would love to go test my S13 now, like even though it is too noisy. I think, years ago when the old guy had it and they were less stressed on noise, they would have like Rob White go down with his freaking NASCAR powered thing and cut a couple of laps just before they went away for an event, and that was like okay.
But I mean, those speedway cars are friggin' loud. Like those speedway cars are friggin' loud. Your V8.
Oh man,
they're way louder than any drift car. Like you're deaf when you're next to them.
The thing is, if you were to go ask the speedway guy that runs the speedway, he would swear to you black and blue that they're not.
It's crazy. That's crazy.
I have. Look, even Archie, like the thing where... So my insurance doesn't actually require us to wear long sleeve, long pants to be in a drift car. But the Speedway do, because as far as they're concerned, the car will catch on fire and burn us to the ground.
Yeah. Which is probably a potential thing in a Speedway car.
It is a thing in a Speedway car, because the engine's just sitting in front of you.
Yeah.
And you don't have
a firewall. You don't have anything.
We have firewalls, and I've tried to have this conversation with him, but we will not even start the conversation. Like, as soon as I even start to bring it up, he immediately shuts it down. So, look, it's Speedway. It's old school, So that's just something we saw. It is what it is.
You just got to work around it.
You got to track 15 minutes from Brisbane City. You know what I mean? Like, you don't anywhere. Let alone Australia. Like, you don't have that shit anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
You cannot go fucking track that's still in the city.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
even in Japan, everything's well in the countryside, and I'm sure America's the same.
They've got the same noise restrictions.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, not Abisu.
Yeah, not Abisu, but Nico.
Yeah, that's right. Nico does. Yeah.
Have noise restrictions.
Does Scuba? I don't know if Scuba
probably
does.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah.
Yeah, Scuba has noise restrictions. That's why you see a lot of the Japanese tracks. Well, a lot of the Japanese are running with the downturned exhaust because it kills the noise. So they're not doing it as a style thing; they're doing it because they have to, because they've all got noise restrictions as well. Yeah, and it's worldwide. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the people in Queensland, especially, don't realise that QR is the only place you're driving in Australia in a short sleeve and a shorts.
Yeah.
Like nowhere else. You can't drive anywhere else in Australia in shorts and a t-shirt. Nowhere.
No way.
So, I guess if you've only driven in Queensland, like, you're like, oh, fucking go to Archie and have to wear longs and fucking rah. It's like,
or Rally Raceway.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
Even just, it's just, but even Rally in their own rules, you're meant to wear longs.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. And you die sweating down there. It's so humid.
And they've got the noise restrictions as well. And that's
even
the next
stronger than Archie noise restrictions. Like, they're mental on them. Yeah.
So it's just one of those things, I guess. It is what it is, and if people have got an opportunity to complain about it, they will.
Yeah, that's what people like to do anyway.
Yeah, especially as like residential really pushes in. I mean, it's only a matter of time before it even starts happening at Queensland Raceway. I'm sure they already get noise complaints as it is. even with the RAF base right next to him.
Well, that's the same thing with Archie. We're literally next to the airport.
I know. Yeah.
We were on the other side of that fence.
Yeah.
So the fence runs down the side of Archie. If we were on the airport side of that fence, we made as much noise as we want.
Yeah.
Because we're on the other side of the fence, we're not.
Yeah.
We cop everything.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like, I can't even complain myself. Like, I love going to QR and going out in fucking shorts and a t-shirt. It's literally the best fucking thing.
Yeah.
And that's what I constantly try and bring it up with my landlord. It's just, he doesn't want to have a bar of it.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating. Yeah. Luckily at Archie, you're not sitting in a line for half an hour either.
Yeah.
Sweating.
That's true.
Yeah, 100%.
I think the fact that you can just chuck, a long sleeve shirt on and chuck some pants on, smash it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then jump back out and get basically nude again is definitely...
and have a quick water break and go back out, Yeah, totally.
Exactly. And, the car needs it as well because you've just done like 20 laps in that 10 minutes rather than, just doing...
one lap in 20 minutes.
And running and waiting for that time again.
Yeah.
So... both have their goods and bads, 100%.
100%. Yeah.
But if we could get shorts and t-shirts at Archie, I would do it. Trust me, it's the one thing that just kills me. It literally kills me. Yeah. And it's something that there's not even common sense involved because, you can wear a parachute jacket and parachute pants, and that's considered longs.
Yeah.
But that is the most death flammable. But that's completely fine because you're covered. It just makes no sense. What do you do?
Yeah, that's
you can't. It's just old school speedway style. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't tell them sort of thing.
No, that's it.
He's convinced that. He's convinced that cars are going to flip over the wall at Archie. It's like they're not open wheels.
What?
Oh yeah, he's like, you're going pretty quick down the front straight now. You know what I mean? And aren't you worried they're gonna
Has he looked at the speeds of the speedway cars?
Drift cars that are fucking 50 mil off the ground. They're gonna bottom out.
Oh man,
there's more issues with cars spinning out and beaching themselves. This is not going to happen. You know what I mean? I know it'll never. It's just never going to happen. You know.
Yeah.
There's nothing to flip off of.
Yeah.
No.
And they're not open wheelers. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
So it's just that mentality.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I'd love to be it's happening as soon as we start again this year. And don't get me wrong, I'm going to try and speak to him tomorrow about it.
Yeah.
Even Monday, because they have a big speedway event this Saturday and Sunday. And if it all goes really, really well, he'll hopefully be in a good mood. So I'll have a chat to him Monday.
Yeah.
So providing, fingers crossed for the drift scene, it doesn't rain this weekend and Speedway has a really good weekend and I can have about the long sleeve, long pants situation. So
that'd be amazing.
It's something I like to bring up every now and then and hope that he might consider it. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, that's it.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of old school, let's go back to ADGP. You competed in that a while back. How was that to drive in?
That was pretty cool, man. Drifting was pretty strong in its fad at that point. You know what I mean? It was sort of drifters had burnt every sponsor there was to have in Australia, and there was still money floating around. I guess people were. It was pre-2010, so there was it was pre-financial crisis. There was just more money around. I guess to make things like that happen. I guess even back then it wasn't even sustainable, but a lot of guys were putting in the effort. And the TV coverage, even to this day, I would say, Drift Australia did a really, really good job of their TV show.
Yeah.
I don't think even, I watch FD TV show stuff and it's so cringy.
Yeah.
But Drift Australia, I think they had a really, really good TV show. Their production team and everything were actually really, really good. I think, they were quite professional, but then really did show, I guess, what drifting was back in the day.
Yeah.
So I think that was super. It was really good, and there was a lot of good camaraderie, and there was less internet, you know what I mean? So there wasn't all the bullshit going on in the background.
Well, there was still NissanSylvia.com, so there was still a fair bit of bullshit.
Fucking this kid.
I remember the first time I ever met you was online on NissanSylvia.com. I was 17, so you can imagine. So this is 11 years ago, let's say, and I put up some shit post about my S13, and first comment was you. It's like, must be school holidays again. And I'm like, fuck's sake. Yeah.
Well, hey, you were 17. It was fairly spot on.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, look, I've always been one to call it as I see it. That comes across as arrogance, and some people are like, oh, that's how it is. So I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, that's it. But that was Nissan Sylvia in a nutshell, though. Like, because that was like my first post on that website too. And then like after you actually see it all, you're just like, oh yeah, that was justified for sure.
Yeah, that probably wasn't even that bad.
No, it wasn't. Trust me.
Yeah, there was definitely some proper trolls on there.
Yeah. And proper dumb people too. Dumb people. Yeah.
I think it's before people even realise, like, at least it's probably worse now with people just asking a question before they've even looked. At least there were forums around back.
But at least you could search on forums back then. Like, good luck finding anything on Facebook nowadays. Like, you literally have to ask to find something, because you can't just search back through 1,000 posts on Facebook for information. So it's a little bit different. What's that?
Big conversation. No resolution or no answer for the issue.
Yeah. What's making this noise with a video on it? It's like, well, look at yourself. Go to a mechanic. What's that?
Let's have a video. It's worse the guys that are just like, I've got this noise coming from my disc and I don't know why it's doing that. It's like, oh yeah, sick one. Like, snap, mate. Take it to a fucking shop. Jesus Christ.
That's great.
95% of the time, the question should be, who is the best shop to take my car when it's making these noises and I have this engine? Okay, this shop is really good at that engine, take it there. You have an Evo, so take it there. You know, like...
No, that doesn't happen, man. You're thinking way too smart about that. Like, this is the real internet world.
But yeah, I guess that side of Drift Australia was really good. There was a lot of good things they were doing, and then a lot of things that were sort of, in my eyes, counterproductive. Like, even these days, they're just too many freaking promoters that aren't drifters kill me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they're not thinking necessarily about the sport's longevity or its fan base, or building it up. You know what I mean? Like, Drift Australia came in as, we are the best, this is Drift Australia, like, and even all these series since then, other than what I've tried to do, is sort of, they've all started at this, like, peak, you know what I mean, and then just fallen from the peak, essentially.
I agree.
What I sort of, I've been in it long enough where I've seen it happen a few times now, because, like, even back then, like, you're having to put 265 semi-slicks on the back of your car and make at least 500 horsepower to be competitive. And then Australia's a big fucking country. So, one event to the next is fucking is super expensive. And back then, there was money floating around. Sponsors were keen to throw some money around, where now it's like most of the sponsors that have been involved with drifting have either been burnt by some dickhead who's built a car and then just not even drifted it, and parted it out or whatever, or for various other reasons. There's guys that do these promotional packs and get sponsored and then don't turn up, to multiple events because of various reasons, and then piss sponsors off, and which I think has hurt drifting a lot. For that side of it, you know what I mean? Like, I've been fortunate enough, or probably not caring enough to ever do proposals or any of that stuff. I've always sort of just try and
off
talk
your name or your
about places, and
yeah,
we'll just be talking to the right people. And I think having someone ask you to drive for them or anything like that, I think is better than just always trying to piss in someone's pocket and impress them. You know what I mean? So that please stay with me, please. It's like no, I'd prefer it to be. It'd be better if it's the other way around. If you're just really good and getting good exposure, then they should just want to sponsor you.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess that side of it was it was really good from the media side of it. It was really well put out to the public.
Good production,
very good production, put out to the public well. The driving, like any other series in the world, it's sort of like there was roughly 8 guys that were killer.
Yeah.
And then, the rest, there was still good drivers, but, they probably couldn't, necessarily afford to have the 265s and, the bigger power or whatever. So there's always, that gap sort of thing. And even like FD and all that sort of jazz, they talk about it like there's a 32 that are, competitive now, and it's like you're not really watching that until it gets sort of top 8, top 16.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Where it starts to get interesting. You get the occasional interesting mix in the top 32, but the real battles start when it's sort of top 8.
Yeah. You'll occasionally get a wild card at any event, but there's generally the same 8 guys are pretty much in that top 8 every time.
Yeah. And it's and it doesn't matter where you go. It's always that side of it. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't say 9 times out of 10, but a lot of the time, if one of those lower guys sort of gets past the battle, it's because they've slowed down the other car too much. They've had it straightened or something.
Yeah.
And that sort of stuff. And it's just that's the nature of it when you're bringing a lot of that money into it, I guess, because you can't. Unless everybody is on that level, you're gonna always have that separation. So
definitely.
That side of that Drift Australia was, it was definitely fun. It was very, I guess, professional. They always had like the whole grid girl thing and post interviews and all that sort of stuff. But in some ways, it was kind of shit as well. Like I got banned from one event and then fined and stuff because they found out I street drifted, and it was like,
what?
And this was like in my second year of that, and I was like I did my freaking what do you call it, application or what do you call it when you petition for a license? Like everybody that I street drifted, like it wasn't a fucking it wasn't a secret. So
that's really weird.
But then all of a sudden they wanted to make an example out of someone and take a stand against street drifting, and because it was all public. And I think it was around the time that RB26 S14 from
crazy
Sydney.
Carlo.
Crazy Carlo.
Yeah, he had the white RB26 S14. He was doing
and he had that street video come out, and it was literally around that time, and I was still streeting every night, how else can you practice? Back in the you didn't have tracks, and it wasn't tracks that were opening their doors for drifting. You were lucky to drift in Victoria. Even these days, you're lucky to drift once a month in Victoria. So that's all you had to do, and so they banned me from an event, and I think fined us $500 or something stupid, and it was I understand, I do understand with it, but I would understand if it was something that was public knowledge, but it was just if you're in the scene, you would know.
Right.
So why did it matter? I didn't get caught fucking drifting down the highway or something, and it wasn't pro drifter out fucking being a dickhead. It was
you weren't drifting that bridge down in Victoria and get on a current affair.
See again, this is funny because then I've got my promoter hat on at this point, and it was actually a guy on his way back from a DCA event, and the ute that the truck nearly rear ends as they're taking the exit had all the DCA merch in it. if they had cleaned up the ute, it would have literally been DCA. It kind of would have been a bad look.
Yeah. That probably would have been the nail in the coffin on that one.
Yeah.
And the Sylvia that doesn't make the exit was one of our judges for like a year or so as well. So.
Nice.
I was actually hanging out with the guy the driver for all of Summer Nights.
Yeah.
So for those that know him, he's a super cool guy, and I wasn't really mad about it. There was a little bit about DCA there on the news, and it's like, well, you can't really blame the series for some guy doing something on another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's it.
Another continent.
Yeah.
Let's talk a bit about DCA then. How did that become a thing?
Yeah, like, give us a rundown.
Yeah, from the start.
So the short of it is I was involved in what was after Drift Australia? I forget what it's called.
ADGP.
ADGP. So I was really involved because I was good friends with Hawkins. I'm still friends with Hawkins.
Yep.
But when ADGP started, I had a lot of influence in making that happen, and you know, he hit me up for a lot of like, I guess a lot of just, you know, what I thought should happen and how to sort of do things. Because one of the shit things about Drift Australia was the fact that you bought your spot. Like, you literally owned your spot in the 32.
Oh, so right. Sure.
Australia, that like super shit, but they owned a spot in the top 32. So, and because there was only 32, like, you qualify first, and you definitely 100%, no matter what. Even if that guy couldn't make the track, you had to battle that guy. And it's like, you can't even fucking do that. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to wipe out one of the top cars by some guy that can't even link the track spinning in front of you because he can't link the track, sort of thing. And that part of it, like, was really shit. So when ADGP first started, you actually had to qualify. So they had like, you know, 40, 50 guys turn up, and you actually had a top 32.
Yep.
So that side was really, really good, you know, and it was a genuine top 32 because you had 50 guys turning up.
Yep.
Yeah.
But then you had these guys with money that were travelling from, which I know of at least one or two that were from Perth, and that were, you know, pretty upset that they were coming all this way in these crazy cars and they weren't qualifying. It's like, well, kind of shit, you know? Like, there's no, I can't sugarcoat it, you know what I mean? It's just that they weren't good enough to qualify, but then they obviously had a lot of money and influence, and they ended up changing it, which sucked. But you know, I was still driving it for a little while, and it just kept getting, I don't know, it just, in my opinion, just got worse, you know what I mean? And then they started like being real sort of, just as Andrew stepped back more out of it, there was another guy that was involved, and he, you know, he didn't give a shit about drifting. So, you know, he was very just business.
Yeah.
So it was run more like a business than anything, where Hawkins, he did actually like, he loves drifting, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And you know, and Drift Australia started off so well. It really did. Like, it was so fun, and it was really something cool, but then it just got turned into a business, too much of a business, I guess.
Yeah.
Where, you know, they wanted these big cars in a top 32 and all that sort of jazz, and I guess it went downhill a bit, and then there was one event. So I was clashing a lot with that guy that was very business orientated.
Yep.
You know, it's so hard for me to deal with someone running an event that doesn't know shit about drifting, you know? And then, you know, they had a couple of guys judging who didn't, like, they weren't good drivers, so they were setting out clipping points that were just so stupid. And it was like, why the fuck have you got a clip there? Like, you can't even get to that clip without doing like a weird handbrakey burnout over there, and then you have to get back across the track to that other clip, and it doesn't work, and then it would become like this issue. And, you know, I'm an outspoken person, so I was always the person in briefings saying that doesn't fucking work. Yeah. You know, and they were like, well, how do you know you haven't driven the track? I'm like, I know, all right? I just know. I'm looking at it. I've driven the track before, and I know where you put those clips. It's going to be extremely difficult to get to. I'm like, I can go out and hit them. That's what I'm saying. But, like, do you want to have a good show? Do you want to have tandems? Do you want to have, like, do you want the course doable and, better for people to watch, because ultimately people want to watch fucking, people getting on door and all that sort of stuff. And
Yeah.
it was just conflicting there, and, if it's not fun, I don't really want to do it. So just sort of, we stopped doing it. And then I was mentoring a dude from Perth. He was like flying me over, and I was sort of teaching him, getting him to be a better driver. But then I came to the event in Perth to mentor him through the event, and I was in the briefing and, sitting there with the guy. And again, they had this super retarded outer clip just before the S-bend going up the hill, and I was like, how much importance and how close do you want the guys to be to that clip? And he just turned straight around to me. He's like, what does it fucking matter to you? You're not driving in front of the whole field. And I was like, bitch, please. Like, talk to me like that. I'm like, it matters to me because I'm here and I'm his spotter.
Yeah.
So I need to know. So is that fucking clip important or not? He goes, it doesn't fucking matter to you. In front of everyone, I was like, I'm a spotter. And then, because of this stupid clip and stuff like that, like, qualifying ended up like super mixed bag. And my wife was actually talking to one of the drivers from the Wheelworks team who did like a wicked run and ended up qualifying like way down the order, and his run was like easily top 2 run. And she was literally said to him, like, it's a shame you got ripped off and stuff on the internet because he put up about where he qualified, and she's like, it's literally like, it's a shame that you qualified there, like they really need to get their shit together, rah rah. The next day, the organisers were threatening the guy I was tutoring to fine him $500 because my wife had said something. And the reason they wanted to fine him is because my wife's with me, and then my wife went and she went and tracked him down, and he was like, would literally walk away when Tiana walked towards him, which is my wife, and she ended up grabbing him, like literally grabbed him. It's like, why the fuck are you trying to sue him? Like, why the fuck are you trying to fine him? She's like, I've only known him for this one event, and the guys I was talking to and most of the other people in these pits I've known for years, so you need to fine everyone $500 because I know them. And it's like, oh, he's not getting fined, rah, rah. And it was this big drama, and literally that night we went home and registered the Drift Challenge Australia name.
Yeah, okay.
And it just snowballed from there, and we're like, all right, like, we're sick of seeing it being done this way. And
yeah, that's how a lot of good things start.
Yeah, like, for me personally, I'm just a driver. Like, I want to drive, and I would prefer to drive against someone's skill rather than someone that, like, drag races off or just has a lot more money and power and grip.
Yeah.
I prefer it to be, like all of my cars up until now, I've always had basic cars. Like, my S14 was probably the most powerful car I'd had up until this S13 that I've got now, the V8 one. Yeah. So all my personal cars have always been low powered because it just doesn't make sense to make all this fucking power and spend all this money. Like, it's just drifting.
Yeah.
So my concept behind it was just something that was affordable, was sustainable, because that's the biggest thing is the pro side of it is a revolving door. You know what I mean? You had like guys coming in that had skill and then had money, but that money didn't last long because it's super expensive to try and drive a 600 plus horsepower car in semi-slick, because you break shit, you break the motor, you break gearboxes, you break diffs, you break everything, and then on top of that you're smashing expensive tires in 2 laps. And then obviously you take traveling into it, the fact that you need a pit crew, all of those sort of things, and you're spending at least 10 grand per round minimum.
Yeah, I'd believe that.
And that was like a low level team, which is like, that's where we were. We were like, the only time we ever drove the car was at the comp. We never did test days, we never did anything. It was literally just at the comp, and we would only take like 16 or 18 tires. So if we got stuck in a rerun, we would like be like, fuck, like if we make it to the final, we're going to need to find some tires because we've fucked up application of tires. So we had enough tires there for me to do like 4 to 6 practice laps depending on the course. and then qualifying, and then the battles up until finals, sort of thing. That's how much we would take. So we were low, and then it's still, like I said, it was still 10 grand when you take into account hotels, travel, tires, car maintenance, all of that sort of stuff. You go to 5 events, that's 50 grand.
Yeah.
And that's without a major failure.
Yeah.
And you blow one of these motors up when you're talking 600 horsepower plus, another 10 grand at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like we had one event where I blew 3 25 boxes, and it was just like hitting a bum. So it was like, you needed to step up to a dog box or a sequential, and it doesn't end. Yeah. And the thing is, you see people getting burnt out because it just it costs a lot. I just thought, let's just get rid of all of that shit. And a lot of the time too, with those sorts of events or the cars like that, they break. So you see so many fucking battles decided by car failures. Buy runs. Oh, sick. When have you ever been excited to see a buy run? Like, never.
Yeah.
Unless they're going to do
the
something
stupidest fucking
epic,
thing on earth.
You know what I mean? But, unless it's a buy run in the final, because that it doesn't matter and you can just send the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
But, like, if you're midway through a comp, you're not going to go doing retarded shit because you know that next time you go into a battle, you might actually have to battle someone.
Yeah. And not to say is if you go hard, you may blow your motor in an actual battle, like you want to save that on your motor, so, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And, a lot of guys, if they're real serious, will go out and just drive their buy run. All they have to do is take off the start line and drive around the track, and that's their buy run.
Yeah.
So, you do see that a lot of the time, and fuck, man, like I said, it's not interesting. You'd rather see the guy battle. So that's where I drew a lot of my thoughts from when we did the rules. Like, we had the rule that you could swap cars.
Yep.
And we still do have that rule. And like I said, what I just spoke about was a really big reason for it, but also what I've found, which I didn't initially think of at the start, but if you need to be in a position to be able to borrow a car, you're not going to be a fucking dick, okay? Because you need to be nice to at least someone, because you might need to borrow a car. But it's funny, but I genuinely feel like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to be that guy that no one wants to lend a car to. That pretty much means that you're not friendly with anybody. So I think that helps with the camaraderie and everything else. We've had some wicked things happen in that situation. Like, we had Dan Hollins in South Australia. We literally he was in a battle, and he blew his diff going over the finish line in his RX-7. And then he had the next part of his battle to go. It was halfway through the battles. And of all cars to jump into, he jumps into Shuey's missile car, his lorry. And literally, drives it to the start line and still won the battle. And it was like, that proves that the dude is just a sick driver.
Yeah.
And I think anybody that gets beaten by someone that can just jump into another car and still kick your ass is just a better driver. There's nothing to be salty about. It's not Le Mans. It's not it's not an endurance race. It's drifting. It's just, you're drifting against the other guy. If he happens to break his car genuinely and he can't get it fixed, then why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%.
So I guess that was the big one. And like I said, the tyre rule just sort of made sense.
Yeah,
235s in Australia are really cheap.
Yeah.
For your, for a majority of the cars, they're S chassis, R chassis.
Yep.
So 235 makes sense. 250 horsepower will turn them all day long.
Mm-hmm.
Be super reliable. You're not blowing up, R200s to that sort of grip necessarily.
Yep.
Sorry, 1 second.
No,
what's up, sweetie? My daughter. Say good night. What's wrong?
I'm finding you.
Oh, you didn't find me because I'm in here. I'm doing it.
Hello.
That's an upset child.
She was upset because she couldn't find me. So I'm just in here, okay?
No.
That's a bit cute.
Sure.
I wish I had a comment. Yeah, Blake at Cash Kings or something as well.
Yeah, who
Sorry?
that? Logan.
Logan said Blake at Cash Kings or something. Was that regards to swapping a car?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So he... Actually, I think same situation. I think first... It was a rerun in the finals. He went on his first run. Okay. Oh, you gotta go do your hair and stuff. Sorry. Go do your teeth and your hair. You have to. That's life. She starts school next week. So.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
Weird. I feel extra old.
Yeah.
So what was I just saying? So Blake at Cashing. So he's gone out and did really well, but literally broke his car going across the finish line. Because it was around the hairpin at Archie when we used to have the concrete wall there.
Yeah.
He just tapped the concrete wall at the finish line and broke an axle. I'm fairly sure he broke, or might have broken a knuckle. I can't remember exactly. But then he jumped into the Slideways Motorsport S15, Christian Badoui's car.
Okay.
Literally drives the car up to the start line and then utterly doors the shit out of Jake Thornbury, who's an amazing driver himself. But he straight up, he drove from the start line, turned right, and then just doored him. And it was like...
In a car he's never driven before.
That's cool.
In a car he'd never driven before.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So...
yeah, you might as well go for the next one. Well, with DCA, before we just move on with that one, what's the plan with this year with DCA?
So we were looking into running a summer series, but then I've sort of been gauging off of the interest that the SA series has had, just because, I guess as an event promoter, it's difficult when it rains, you know what I mean? Because you lose money, you can lose a lot of money on events where it rains because people don't turn up. It costs a shitload to rent the tracks and all that sort of stuff. So it's sort of I want to avoid the rainy season a bit, but then Australians just literally do all their money at Christmas time.
Yes.
So, they've got a Matsuri down there in South Australia this weekend, I believe.
Okay.
So this week, 3 day. They got a 3-day event this weekend.
Wow.
Which is
At Taylor Bend.
At Taylor Bend. So epic new track. It's only $380 to enter for 3 days.
Wow.
That's me.
And I'm sure they're going to be drifting at night, multiple layouts. Everything, and they're struggling for entries, and I was like, "Fuck," because no one's got money.
Yeah,
no one's got money on Christmas. And they already had one other event in January, or just before Christmas, I think they had an event. So I was like, And the only reason I know this is because I was stupid enough myself to try and run an event on this weekend at Taylor Bend when they're pre-fixing it up.
Yeah,
but the problem is, again, you got a 3-day weekend. Most people have organised their Triple J, hottest 100 and getting drunk to the river or, everything else but drifting.
Plus,
it's
what I mean? 49 degrees in South Australia tomorrow as well, so that helps.
Well, that is definitely a factor. But again, you've got these, people are just struggling to catch up money-wise in January. So that's why, I don't run any events in January, not by choice, because there's so many Speedways events on. But it wouldn't be, you know what I mean? We're probably not missing out on a whole lot by not running in January, just because
I'd agree with that.
It gives people time to recover, because even morning session was low on numbers and they cancelled it.
Yeah, right.
Which is really surprising. Because morning session is the best thing they do, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think I don't really want to say much because I like the way morning sessions are with lower numbers, but it's definitely if you're go to QR, like you go to a morning session because,
100%.
you know, a lot of the time you'll get waved through the start line and things like that, which is,
like
you know, like
the best thing.
You know, Friday night or whatever kills me, like just sitting there and just waiting. And, you know, so I guess that side of it. So we're sort of reevaluating that. And look, we started DCA 5 years ago now. And in that time, that arrived. And we have a son now as well. So it's not it's just going to be quite a year for DCA National Series compared to previous years.
Competition level DCA.
Essentially, we're just, instead of running a series this year, we're just going to run a couple of banger events. So we are going to run Cash Kings again at Archie. So that'll be, you know, one of the bigger ones. But we're also, this is an exclusive for you guys. But we're going to be running a Matsuri and a Cash Kings at Mount Gambier on the street circuit.
Ooh, that is big
that'd
news.
Be cool.
Yeah, you heard it here first.
It'll be absolutely worth going to. So we're just working on dates at the moment with the council. Again, just trying to avoid rain, you know, and trying to get some good weather. But again, Mount Gambier is a place with its own weather anyway, so it really is a roll of the dice. But we're trying to go for better weather. Not 49 degrees, but definitely not pissing rain either.
How far away is Mount Gambier from Brisbane?
From here, it's realistically 22 hours. But it is fucking sick, man. Like, the feeling of coming over that first crest, like, you can't see shit. It's just completely blind crest. And we make the track a lot wider now. Like the first year, we were working with another company when it came to the track design and things like that, and they made it like super tight and didn't sort of. And it was our mistake, you know what I mean? They just didn't understand drifting. As well. But now, you know, in the years since, we've widened the track a hell of a lot. Someone's
literally said that in the comments. They've widened it and fixed the edges.
I just read that now because no one send me some photos, please. Because I didn't hear that. Well, the first year we came there, they made the road wider. They literally put it through the council as drainage, fixing drainage. That's how the council guy put it through, which was super rad. And we took the mayor out drifting and things like that. So they're really it's a sick place to go. I cannot recommend it enough. And we've got, we should have Dwayne McKeever coming over for that one because he won the IDC this year. So he'll be the special guest out for that one, providing the dates work. And there's also, I know there's a couple of Japanese drivers that really want to come over off their own back with their own cars. So
that'd be cool.
They love the idea of Cash Kings for one, and then also they want to drive the street circuit. So that's definitely up there. I know I call him Yoshi. One of the FD drivers in Japan wants to come over, and a few other guys as well. So that will definitely be sick. And like I said, it's going to be a 3-day event. It's going to be a 3-day Matsuri where you actually drift the course both directions as well. So you actually drift it the direction that we've regularly done it, turn around and take off from the pits and drift the track backwards. Which is, it's almost scarier backwards than it is forwards, I guess, because it's definitely, it's really, really fun, man, that place. It's like nothing you'll drive. It's like no circuit because it is. That first crest is very steep.
Is the crest like the Nishi crest at Ebisu, where you come like over that hill on Nishi? Would it be that steep or?
No, it's way steep. It's more of a quick hill than that. And it's very the track. Well, there's pictures of guys even in the wet lifting wheels over that.
Holy shit! Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah.
So if you've got a lot of grip in your car and you're on angle, there's a lot of guys are all lifting the wheels over there. So
that's hectic.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, definitely keen for that. That sounds fucking rad.
This kid.
Oh, you can read it. I don't know where we're up to. You go.
Oh, yeah. Let's go to that one, I guess.
Actually, just more with DC.
Yeah,
I'll talk about that. There's the so what we are considering. She likes to be part of the live streams, yeah. So what we are considering for next year for 2020 is, again, another exclusive for you guys that's public, is we want to run basically an unlimited class.
Okay.
So literally like a outlaw class where there is literally, other than safety, there's no restrictions.
Right. So, to bring in
What
those like ADGP level cars, essentially? Or
No, I want like proper dumb shit, like tube
like
sassy.
crate. Oh,
Okay.
yeah, right.
Like, it's like the sort of thing that guys like Nigel Petrie would
Yeah.
bring his high compete with it.
Huh.
If he wanted to, where, you know, he wouldn't have that option anywhere else.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, under most rules, like, obviously, World Time Attack's different, but my mate Mitch with the Turbo V8 Hilux, you're not allowed to use a cab chassis in any other drifting series sort of thing. So it's the kind of thing where you'd be able to bring a cab chassis car or a tube chassis car.
Yeah, right. Just really open, yeah.
Yeah, and look, I'm not, you know, the DCA as it stands will always be the number one in my opinion until drifting got to a point where, you know, doing the semi-slick thing was sustainable.
Yeah. So would there be like a tire rule still on the
No, that's what I'm saying.
it'd be like completely fucking open. Everything.
Like the Group B of drifting.
Yeah. Holy shit. Yeah, wow.
Do a Group B thing because it would be good for crowd. You know what I mean? I sort of take, again, this is where the advantage of being a driver and being able to go to all these different places and drive in all these events and then take in bits from everywhere. And I think one of the major cool things that World Time Attack has going for it is because it's Time Attack. Like, it's not entertaining the slightest, in my opinion.
No, it's goddamn not. But it's the best event in Australia. Seriously, like, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like, Time Attack as a sport. You know what I mean? Like, it's interesting, but the cars,
yes,
they're in.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, you can walk through the pits and spend a majority of your time just looking at amazing shit.
Yeah.
So I figure, what does it hurt if you've got like 8 to 10 guys in this country that want to do that shit? You know what I mean? And build something retarded.
Yeah.
And send it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care if it's in Porsche or for us, a rear engine car. It doesn't matter. You know, it's just something to really showcase the cars and. You know, good drivers around that helps, but you know what I mean. It's just, I think it's just something that'll add to the event. You know what I mean. It won't take up a great deal extra time because they could be out practicing with everybody else. Yeah. And because I don't expect, you can't. Even the national series, other national series now, like, don't really get a top 32 for their series for the pro. Even top 16 in some points they've not had the numbers there, so you know what I mean. I realistically don't expect there to be more than 10 guys.
Yeah, I would have said like 8 to 10 people. Is the realistic number for that. Yeah,
up 8 takes 45 minutes to run. You know what I mean. So I think that would just be a cool little thing to add in, and I think it would be just a bit of car porn. That'd
be
sure.
So good.
Yeah,
For me personally, like, drifting wise, I love seeing a guy in a basic car kill a guy in a more impressive car. Yeah. But then it's definitely cool to see that, like, nutter car as well. You know what I mean? Like, dude, if someone goes and builds like some, actually something that I've, it's never going to happen, but it's those Cobra kit cars. The guys that make them in Queensland, they use S15 front end and R33 rear end.
Really?
And they're the same length as a JZX 100. So they're essentially Nigel Petrie's Hilux, but they have a freaking Cobra shell on them, and you can put whatever engine you want in. That would be a fucking cool car to see around.
Yeah, that'd be rad.
And it would handle good. It's just an S15 and a freaking, it's an S15 and a R33. Like, it's a it's just a long wheelbase Sylvia. It's a late model Safira
Yeah.
with a body on it. It's just, you know, if you saw that somewhere drifting, you would gravitate towards it immediately because that would just be fucking cool.
Hell's yeah.
You know? So,
Yeah.
like, I guess even with my stupid S13 that I built, like, I took that out to a Friday night because I just needed to test it, and I was having issues with it boost cutting and things like that. And I never even did, like, a good lap in it as far as I was concerned, but every time I drove that car into the pits, there was a crowd around it. It didn't even look good. I didn't have kit on it, had multi-coloured panels and stuff like that, but it's just, you pop on it, there's a big fuck-off turbo on its V8 and the exhaust sticks out the side, so it's just interesting. And I think, you know, that's cool to have in an event, you know what I mean? I don't want a field of stuff like that, but I think it's good to have as a sideshow, essentially.
Yeah. And you look at Nigel Petrie's cars, like all of his cars, when he brings them to a World Time Attack, they get a monster crowd, you know, like, because that's the stuff that people are interested in, you know, is those crazy build cars.
Yeah, car nerds are sitting there being like, I wish I could do that. I wish I had the patience.
Yes, yeah.
That's the key, the patience to build something like that.
Yeah.
So, I just saw a question there. When is Mount Gambier?
Yeah.
We're just still working to just lock in a date. So, again, we just want to, you know, there's a lot that's involved in it, and it's a very expensive event to run because of the infrastructure we have to bring in. Like, we literally have to bring in, like, I think 16 truckloads of, like, barriers and stuff. So it's pretty expensive infrastructure wise, and we have to bring in generators and all kinds of stuff. So it is a very expensive event to run, to then, you know, potentially run it at a shitty time of year and get rain for 3 days and lose 50 grand. You know, it's just not something you want to do.
No, definitely not.
But look, as soon as that gets firmed up, we'll be announcing it because we want that one to be huge.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
For anyone, being a Matsuri, it's a good opportunity for anyone to drift the track.
Yeah, especially for people who want to try that, like, street style almost, you know? Yeah. Awesome. No, that's right.
Yeah, well, that's what you want, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, you think you're the street boss, like, it's not a comp now, just come and show us, yeah? And then we'll have the tow truck there waiting for him.
So, you were telling us before the show that you were recently in Japan, doing like a drift tour or something, was it, over there? Tell us a little bit about your times, because I know you've been to Japan quite a few times. Tell us a couple of, like, your memorable times in Japan, and maybe about this trip, or
Well, I guess memorable would be my first trip back in 2009. We went over there. It was pretty much pre-power vehicles. So power vehicles were only just sort of starting out at the time. So I bought a car through Luke Woodham, that Aussie guy that started a drift documentary, took everyone's money.
Oh, Luke Huxham, yeah.
No. Is it him? Luke Huxham?
Has that started the Drift Colours documentary? Yeah, that's never happened. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Everybody money in it. And dude, that thing looked like it was going to be sick. Like, that clip he brought out, and he's paid for. I don't know why he didn't go through with that. That would have been sick.
Yeah.
Because he can film. Like, he's a damn good filmer.
Yeah. But I bought an NA S14 off him, which had, like, the Ortec motor in it. And fuck, that was so fun. And that's back when there was barely any foreigners as well.
Yeah.
Like, it was it was super good fun, because just being NA, it rained most of the time we were there. I slept for like 45 minutes for the whole weekend. Just loose, really good fun.
Was that pre-power vehicles?
Yeah, I think you were saying that.
That's what I said. It was as power vehicles were setting up. They were, Scarlett, what are you doing?
Yeah, funny enough, I actually shared a video a while back of that exact event of viewing that S14 on the Hoshinos and everything like that. Yeah, it looked like awesome, but yeah, it was just entirely rain.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but it was dry for some of it, but it was sick fun when it was dry as well. But it was it was definitely good for the tire ratio.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's definitely good for budget when it rains.
Oh, because literally, man, well, it was me and a mate that went halves in the car. Yes. Oh, so cool. Got a nail painted today. It's very exciting. They're pretty cool. Yeah, so I guess we seriously, I think 45 minutes to an hour was the most that car got turned off, and other than that, it ran for the full 36 hours. Or I would say the car ran for 35 of the 36 hours.
That's NA reliability right there.
Impressive right there.
Like, yeah.
But that was because it was NA, that was nothing but full throttle. Yeah. You know what I mean? It was full throttle for the entire weekend, limiter, you name it, it was just on it. And the tent never moved, dooring friends, and got hit really bad by someone on Minami. Got a bad bump off the bounce and spun, and then someone hit me straight in the B pillar, just behind the B pillar, and smashed my quarter window out, pushed the pillar across, and we had to get a snatch strap around the pillar and pull the pillar back out away from the seat and stuff, and just it was, pre all these rules, especially. Calm down. Turn it off. Get the control. It's too cold. Really.
What was up garages like in Japan back then?
Totally
different to now. Yeah.
Dirty, man.
Yeah.
You could go in there and take your pick of $30-$40 fucking naughty steering wheels.
Whoa.
You could actually find cool, rare shit.
Yeah.
It was... Yeah. Man,
what people honestly expect to go over and see now,
yeah.
but they get there and they're like, that shit's not real. But yeah, it used to be.
No. It sucks now. It's so bad now.
Yeah.
Because you can just buy everything online. So why the fuck would you go searching around all of Japan and stopping at every up garage when you can just go on Kruber or up garage online and just buy it?
Yeah, or even Yahoo,
Yeah. But it's lost all its appeal of fucking finding a set of redline taillights just sitting there and they're cheap or whatever, where everything now is like, you got an up garage and you see a pair of S15 headlights and they're $1,000. It's like, fuck me, I'm going to bring a couple of sets from Australia, sell them up.
Seriously, yeah.
I've literally seen sets of S15 headlights here for like $300.
Yeah.
Fuck, I'm going to just fill my bag with those things and sell them to up garage.
You know what the good one is? Is the over there they're trying to sell our normal ADM taillights for an A86. They're selling them for like $500 a set over there in good condition. I'm like, you guys are crazy.
Oh shit!
Because they're the ones that came on the initial A86, so it's all got to be the Series 1 Treno stuff, and that's what they want.
It's time to sell all the stuff.
Yeah. No, it is funny, isn't it? It depends where you go in the world. Like, I was talking to an Irish dude in Japan, and he was talking about how they hate white line tail lights. They've literally seen hundreds of sets just thrown away because they want the UK spec tail lights, and they're like, they hate white lines. And I'm like my wife is an 8.6 fanatic as well. Like, our nice Truno with the garage is her car.
Yeah.
And she's just staring at him like, you fucking what? Throwing away white line tail lights? And this guy's like, why is this chick getting so mad? And I'm like, you throw away white lines, bro. Like, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, yeah, but no one in Ireland likes them. I was like, I bet you if you had some chibi fucking spotlights, you'd be all stoked, wouldn't you? The 8.6 guys watching this will be like, I know exactly what you're fucking talking about. Yes, you know.
Everyone else is like, what the fuck is he going? What's a white line?
What are chibis? So, but yeah, it is funny, that side of it. And up garage back in the day. Like, so there was like, I would say 10, there's like 10 or 13 of us. I think, or 11. I don't know. I can't remember exactly. There's quite a few of us.
Yeah.
But I'm talking like, I was driving the van, and then we had a K car as well. Yeah. And it was like, you see you're navigating to the up garage, and then you see the up garage sign in the distance, and it's fucking on.
Yeah.
It's like K car fucking racing down the road like and then literally, like, as we're pulling up, I'm hitting like lock all the doors because I'm in the driver's seat to go and find shit. And this is like, I remember running into an up garage, and right just inside the front door, there's a pair of XR4s for $120. And I was like, these are fucking mine. And everybody runs in. I'm on the ground hugging this pair of XR4s, and they're like, what the fuck are you doing? It's like, these are mine. I'm like, they're $120. and the yen was like $10 to $1 at the time as well. So literally, you didn't do the old guesstimate, take the 2 zeros off the end. It's just take 2 zeros off the end. That's how much it is.
Yeah.
And it was like, you could just find all that shit. You know what I mean? It was a totally different thing back then. It was.
Did you visit any performance shops? Were they different to what they would be now? In the way that they respond to foreigners, maybe?
Yeah, I think they were more like... So we were lost one time looking for hotels, and all we could find is sex hotels. And we ended up coming across... We're at a 7-Eleven, and we turn around and look across the road, and there's this fucking off its head FC, wide-bodied FC, and some other interesting cars. And one of the boys sort of walked over there, and it was like, I think it was 1 or 2 in the morning.
Yeah, right.
I know it was definitely past midnight, because we were just like fucking looking like crazy to try and find a hotel.
Yeah.
And we go over there and we're having a look. This FC was pretty fucking sick, like big wide body. I think might have been an RME car. We were looking at it and stuff, and there was guys inside, and then they came out, and then it was on. They've opened the door up, they pulled all the cars out. Then I turned mostly a body shop that did like music and stuff. And then they were on their phone, they had their mates coming down, and I ended up getting the loudest street registered K car in Japan. Was one of their mates, and he turned up, and we all got to sit in the car while they cranked them. You know, the sound and hair was floating and all that sort of stuff. They was, and to be fair, if you went to that place again, they'd probably be the same, because it was just in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah.
It was just not. I wouldn't even be able to tell you the name of the shop if I saw it again now, but it was just like they were beyond accommodating. No English. None of us could speak that.
Yeah.
We're all just sort of pointing and trying to translate stuff.
Oh, so good.
Yeah. So good. Yeah. You know, when the boys were being dickheads, don't worry, bakagajin. But that was like, I think a little bit more accommodating back then, because it was just, there wasn't as many, JDM drift fanboys going over there. I think, now we've got a lot of dudes that have moved over there even. It was still, back in 2009, was very, I guess, fresh.
Yes.
Yeah. And I said, there was our group, and then there was a small group of like army dudes that were there, American army guys, and that was it. The rest was Japanese people. So that was like, really good. I wouldn't say it's by any means ruined it now, but like I prefer personally not to go to Matsuri, because it's just too. Yeah,
totally agree.
People are trying to one up themselves on retardedness.
I actually go. So I arrive on the Thursday, prep my car on the Friday, drive the Saturday, Sunday Matsuri, and then I'm there the week after, and that's amazing because everyone leaves on the Monday, and it's just awesome. You're just there with real chill guys, and it's way better.
Yeah. See, hot tip: turn up on the Monday, buy a car of someone that spent way too much money on their car, but power vehicles don't give them enough money for, and then.
Well, you could do that too. Yeah, you could do that.
You have your stacks ready to go Monday morning, and you're good. But no, like that, I think that side of it has turned me personally off Matsuris a bit. Like I've been to Ibiza a time since, just like off peak, and had a really, really good time. So I can usually convince Sue and Edgar and Andy to come out for a drive, and things like that. So they're still like fun guys to drive. But then I usually go with some mates who have got at least another car or borrow a car or whatever. So that side of it's been fun, where you get a bunch of fucking Aussies and Americans that don't have someone telling them no. Yeah, and they just do it. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, I think. Even with the cage rule coming in, like it's a matter of time. Like you look at what's the South track called? The bottom one?
Higashi, the quick track, or Minami.
Yeah, but when you run it full track, Like I was.
Do you mean Nishi Long?
Nishi Long. Yeah, Nishi Long.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you run Nishi Long, like I was top of 4th in an NAS 14 entering in there in the dry. Like,
yeah,
you're a turbo car. You're pushing 200.
Yeah.
In there and flicking, and you see guys like even Sato fucking flipping their cars there. It's like with an Aussies or an American's mentality, like it's only a matter of time before you've got some car spun out.
Yeah.
Halfway down the straight and some guy that's doing 200 and just can't stop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the issue. Yeah,
there's no fucking flag there or anything to stop it. You know what I mean? That having kids and stuff has sort of just like changed my thought press a touch. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm a bitch by any means, but there's no point putting yourself in that situation if you can help it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that really changed for me on my last trip as well. Like, I'm kind of like, it's time to really like be a lot more safety conscious on this. Like, I think shit got real on that last trip when I was over there with that guy from Perth. And this is the thing. I don't think the cage thing and like the tracks.
See, this is a controversial one, I think, because you know what I mean? Like, Ibisu has, like, these epic big drop-offs. Like, school course, L32 got written off on school course. Yeah. Because we dropped into a pot. Yeah, but you think about Toge. If you come off the top of Toge, like... Yeah, you're straight into the power vehicles parking lot. If you come off top of Toge, like, yeah. But I think more from a just case of like general maintenance on the track. You know what I mean? Like, literally, like a whole side of the track launched my car 6 feet in the air and literally like bent the strut tower across, bent the cradle, like just destroyed the rear end of the car. And my wife just made a slightly wrong turn and the back end just dropped in it. Just destroyed the car. And I think, those things like that, it's so much more dangerous than Tiana, Scarlett, you're going to need to stop it. You're being silly, okay? Daddy's talking. It's 9 at night and she wants to hear it. But I'm definitely not against the roll cage thing, and I think it's a good idea. It's definitely got to help. The presentation thing is good if it's done the right way. I've seen some cars there that definitely shouldn't pass, but they have, and then other cars that aren't. Like, I think it's damage that just makes the car look worse, but it hasn't been damage that's like structurally affected the passenger compartment. Where I've seen there's a Cephii there at the moment that's been T-boned, right? And that's still eligible, but just because it has like a nice front and a nice rear still, but it's been T-boned super hard, and it's like, to me, something where the passenger compartment is damaged, to me, is more of a safety issue than someone having a fucking quarter smashed in. So I think that side of it's a little bit weird, but I think a lot of it's going to get stronger, and it's going to get harder and harder to get a car that's eligible to drive there. I think as time goes on, and I think that was a really big wake up call for the whole track. Was that November one? I think from now it's going to crack down hardcore by the time it comes to November this year. Well, it's not even a crackdown. Like, power vehicles, if you don't have a power vehicles car, you don't have to have roll cage and stuff. It's power vehicles bringing them in because they're the only ones that give a shit. Essentially, it's not a track. It's not a track rule. It's a power vehicles rule. But I think it's weird how they're doing it though, because I think it's like I'm talking like Matsuri time. I think they're still going to enforce it on the like the Americans and stuff that rock up or whoever who rocks up who isn't with power vehicles, but unless you're like a Japanese resident or like a visa holder or something, like an army base guy, then they're not going to really care because you're going to have your own insurance. I think it comes down to for a lot of the guys that have
travel insurance, and I think that's where a lot of the issues are coming in. So, because all the guys that can drive themselves to a hospital and, you know, sort themselves out through their own local Japanese insurance, they're okay. But I think it's an issue with the guys that don't have insurance to cover them at the track.
Yeah. But I guess a good chunk of the Americans live there, though.
Yeah, exactly. And they're fine. They're fine. It's I think it's the foreigners that come there, whether you're a Power Vehicles customer or not. If you're there on a holiday type visa and travel insurance, then I think you come under those rules. From my thoughts, like from what I understand.
I'll just get my boy that's at an army. Then I'll just get my boy that's an army dude to buy me a car that doesn't have a cage. Jump in and go.
But honestly, like after seeing...
That's a super hard one.
That's all. Yeah. We'll see how it all plays out, you know. Like, I mean, it could end up a full-time track ruling. You know, this could, just because Power Vehicles is the first to employ it, this could be a ruling that comes in through Ebisu's owners, you know. They don't want to see people with busted backs coming there. It gives, you know, if that ends up on Japanese news, man, it just it can really end up bad for Ebisu themselves.
Yeah, and it is super hard thing, but like you said, you've driven like one wrong turn on all of the tracks have dirt and bank. So it's so easy to end up upside down there.
Yeah, and I mean, like really, the safest track is Minami. Yeah. And but you know, you still make one solid mistake on Minami and you're fucked. Like, you know, so, and it's the safest track there. Like, yeah.
Well, it's the track that you're not necessarily going to end up. You definitely still can roll there.
Yeah.
But it's a lot less likely to roll on Minami versus
the issue with Minami that I've seen happen is someone come over the jump, hit the wall, their head hits the cage, knocks them out. They're still full throttle down the wall into the tires at the base as well. Yeah, so like that can be an issue too, doesn't it? You don't even have to roll to have a serious accident. You know? Yeah.
Well, as long as you wake up, you're good, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's
No, it's not and like someone's even said in the comments, it's not a bad thing, and it's not even like these are expensive over there either. They're cheap. And you can get Shaken and everything over there with roll cages, but I think it would be hard for Ebisu from a business perspective to just up and just all of a sudden ban it. I think it was something they'll probably bring in over the next few years. Because they can't go and, you know, their bread and butter at the end of the day is people coming through the gates regularly.
Yeah.
So
it's a hard one.
And
it's
even when it
rock and a hard place type.
You know. Yeah. There's a bit. I guess even the simplest things like flaggies. You know what I mean? Like shit up on the North Course gets loose as fuck at night. And you're coming over a blind crest, you know what I mean? And even in those cases, like a Cusco bolting cage isn't going to help you in a T-bone there. So it's a thing where I think probably more than anything, the track needs to step up a bit as well. You know what I mean? Have yellows, you know, have someone there that's just sort of keeping an eye on it to some extent, at least like just a flaggy over the crest on North Course at night, or a light or something.
Well, they do have that. I have noticed that the last couple of times I've been there, that they do actually have the lights running on the Matsuri weekends, but as soon as that's all over, it's done. Yeah. But they do have that stuff on at Matsuri times, which is good. Yeah.
Okay, I've never known that.
Yeah, no, the last two trips that I've been, so 2018 and 2017 Novembers, definitely they've been running the lights on North Course. So and on Nishi over the crest, they're running flaggies up top and stuff like that. So
that's good. Yeah,
it's definitely we might as well go on to the Adam LZ event that's coming up. Yeah,
give us a quick rundown on the Adam LZ event for anyone that wants to go and come along and watch, I guess.
Yeah, because that's going to be a monster event for Archie as well, like with the spectators and stuff.
Well, so we're doing the 3 events now, which is good because Adam was concerned about, you know, and not getting, because he's like very much like wants to be able to actually say hello to everybody, you know what I mean? He doesn't want anybody leaving disappointed. So, initially it was just going to be the one event, and he was still going to drive Thursday and Friday, but we weren't going to like publicize it because it would just be more fun for him to come and drive without the pressure. Is another concern, which is completely fair enough. Of people like expecting things or whatever.
Yeah.
So, we've turned around and obviously had to, just because if we were to just run a Tuesday as normal, knowing that Adam LZ is going to be there, there'll be a lot of drivers, and it's even someone said, I think on a post before this, do you even know who Adam LZ is or whatever?
If you get asked about that.
There's over 2 million people that do, so it's substantial.
Yeah.
And he's appealing to a wider audience.
Yeah,
you can bring over.
Even my next door neighbor who has absolutely nothing to do with drift cars just sees me park my 34 on the street and he goes, "Oh, that's cool." He's like, knows about Adam LZ, and he doesn't have anything to do with drift cars.
Yeah, which is crazy.
So I think and that is, and that's why he, I'd been watching his videos anyway, and got into it a bit. A bit, it's like not his older videos, but sort of stuff in the last year and a half or so has been pretty good to watch.
Yeah.
And like I said, it does appeal to so many different people, and it's funny because there's still so many people that don't even realise Archie exists. Like there's still heaps of dudes that like regular QR that doesn't even know Archie's there. Like we've had guys come down to just get some tyres from the Zell Garage boys, and they're like, "Oh wow, this place is fucking sick. I didn't know about it." It's like you're getting to go drift Friday night, yeah? It's like, how the fuck did you not know we're here? So I think, it's still a thing, you know what I mean? So, we're just trying to get the track out there more, and ultimately, at the end of the day, the hope is, if these events are big, there's another extension I want to do, so, hopefully the people come and realise that, the money's going to a good place, I guess. It's obviously not cheap him over. It's not just flights. It's it costs money to get him over. He does bring a crowd and things like that. So that's just the whole part of business wise. So that part of it needs to be covered. But we're hoping we can get a bit of a step ahead this year and be able to with any luck, get straight into doing this extension. We're literally, I had an electrician out at the track today. We're about to put up a bunch more lighting, another 10 floodlights that are about to go up that will be, cool. Half of them will be in the pits. So there's another big light pole being put up in the pits, and 5 of those will aim into the pits.
No, that'd be so good.
And so it was definitely, I guess, it's just
a good thing for Archie.
Like a good way to get Archie out there. It's just,
good way to get the track out there. More people come and see it, and with any luck, like you said, these guys like you're talking about will come out and then potentially come and watch future events. You know what I mean? It just makes it
totally.
Yeah. And ultimately, these could be the kind of guys that end up getting into drifting as a sport as well. So
totally.
That side of it, I think, is important as well. Getting new guys into it all the time, and that's sort of our motivation behind those sort of those Tuesday nights that we run that are only $10, but it's like just part of the course to drift.
Okay,
but it's like a lot of guys come and do that as a first time sort of thing, and they become drifters from there. We've had guys that used to go to like Mad As Burnouts and now are like regulars drifting, you know what I mean, and actually getting into it. So,
which is exactly what you want.
100%.
And there's like, I don't know if you guys saw the old bloke in the Falcon that drives quite a bit at Archie. He's actually my maintenance guy at Archie, and he's like 50 plus, and he started drifting a year ago, and that dude, he rips now in a freaking EL Falcon, and he's just got rid of the old one, and he's going to do a fresh one, and he's like, I don't want to bang it up, I don't even want to touch the wall. He's like, I just want to refine my driving more, and he just wants to tandem more, and you know what I mean? Like, this dude's 50 years old, and he's just got into drifting, and he's absolutely fucking loving it. And I think that good thing. You know, that is a really good thing.
Definitely.
Yeah,
No,
totally.
that's rad.
And with how accessible Archie is to Brisbane, you know, you said before, it's 15 minutes from the city, you know, and you can't get that anywhere else. So it works out well.
Nah, and you know, even on our full price nights, it's only $60, man. Like,
Yeah, no, it costs nothing to drive.
I got $130 fine just before because my fucking car's parked across the footpath. Apparently,
Yeah.
my car's literally on my driveway with the trailer on the back, but I'm covering the footpath, and some piece of shit parking inspector came and gave me a fine just before. And I lived in a quiet area.
Yeah.
Just before, literally like 5 minutes before I got online with you guys. So.
Nice.
Oh man.
Someone's just asked in the
Expensive
comments about what Adam is doing before the event. Because I mentioned that Halfway Hangs is on the Saturday. What is the plan with the events?
Yeah, he lands early Saturday morning. Like when I say early, it's 8 or 9 o'clock.
Right.
And by the time you got down to Halfway Hangs, it'd be
almost over.
after lunch.
Yeah.
Then you would then be turning around and driving straight back.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been for a chill first day when he gets here.
Yep.
It would have been nice, but
Just didn't
you know,
work
there was
out.
also that same when I mentioned the idea of Adam LZ doing Halfway Hangs last year to some of the Halfway Hangs guys, a bit like gay sort of thing, you know, that attitude from some people. So
Yeah.
but I think even since then, you know what I mean, it's showed that he's just a keen drifter. He doesn't. He's not necessarily into comps. He just wants to drive. You know?
Yeah, and he
So I
gets
think-
a shitload of driving in, you know?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, you can't. Like, the people getting mad are just mad that he's out there driving all the time,
Yeah.
and we're not.
I wish I could be doing that much driving, man.
100%.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I was actually talking to him today because he just called me up just on the phone to just have a chat a bit more about the event coming up, and somehow got on the conversation of his S15, and he asked if we could drive cars like that on the road over here and stuff like that. I was like, well, you can until you get caught. There's a bigger chance you get caught here. And, things like that. And I said, especially at the moment, like, I'm scared to drive my truck around, you know, my BT50 around at the moment because my tyres stick out the guard. Everybody's getting done for. I said, like, normally it's not too bad. I'm like, but right now you definitely couldn't drive shit on the road. As by the sounds of it, you're experiencing.
Yes. Yes, I sweat bullets every time I drive to work.
Hood register over here.
And then, yes, you got put on the hood register for driving a car that was too low. I was like, that's great.
Yeah, but I'm not. You'll probably see it on Adam's video on the next day or two. I'm not even sure if I meant to say anything, but we got into a conversation about his S15, and then we're talking about the sequential gearbox and how, like, personally, with all the sequential cars I've driven, I prefer a G-Force. Like, I like the 4-speeds better, the H-Pattern 4-speed NASCAR boxes.
Yep.
Just 'cause they're stronger and more reliable. I said it'll be fine. Like, the Samsonite box is good as long as you don't have the 6-speed. And he's like, I got the 6-speed. And I was like, yeah, I would have got 5-speed or the 4-speed if I was going to go with Samsonite gearbox because they're a lot stronger. And he's like, oh, you know, like, it's been good for me. And he sent me a message back probably 2 or 3 hours later saying, damn you, like, I hate you. S15. So I think the thing up on Instagram earlier
Yeah, he
about
actually had something on Instagram. Yeah, he broke the S15 or something. I was like, oh.
Yeah, unfortunately, he blew the box. I was like, geez, I feel so bad. And then literally when I was in Japan, I was having a conversation with the guy that does the rental cars, talking about how the Aussies don't really use RB26s because they break oil pumps and like they're not really reliable from a drifting point of view. And he's like, nah, mine's super reliable because he's a Brazilian dude, so he has like an American accent. He's like, nah, bro. He's like, my shit doesn't break. I've been driving this thing for years, and and the next day we go out within an hour. Oil pump goes, motor's gone, and it's just like, fuck. We just drove all the way to Nico on the road, and the car gets like an hour and a half in, and oil pump. Like, the guy that was driving it wasn't even on limiter or anything. He was just literally like loading up in third, locked up completely.
No
the motor. That's like,
Dude.
that sucks.
So moral of the story is don't brag
sorry.
to you about motors or cars.
Just if I say anything's bad going to happen to your car, just don't drive it. Park it.
Just give it a week, you know? Like,
Let the bad juju disappear and be like,
just be hugging like a tree for touching wood. While you're doing it.
No.
Jeez.
He's a good bloke. He's just super keen to come and drive. He's nervous, you know what I mean, from a point of view of like, you know, he doesn't want to let anyone down or, you know, because there's just expectations, you know what I mean? Like, you know, people have seen videos and be like, all right, so he should just go out and automatically drive on someone's door or whatever. Whereas, like, you know, he's got a new car that he hasn't driven before. You know, he's going to have to learn and everything like that. And I said, dude, they're Aussies, man. Just go out there and cruise. And I think, especially with the Sunday event, we've been very picky on the drivers and stuff like that. We've wanted to make sure it was people with nice cars and good attitudes, so no one's going to go out and just drive into him or anything like that. And with that included, like, you know, it's a good friend of ours' car that he's driving. You know, and he's just put a bunch of time into that S15 as well to make it even nicer.
Can you give us a quick rundown on the S15?
On Kai's S15, it's the light blue one that you've seen. You would have seen at Archie on
it was there the last day that I drove there with Brendan. That was pretty cool.
Polished SSRs or the Meisters or whatever they are. But he's just done a new turbo setup and a different tune, and so he's done a lot of like cleaning up. And just because when he built the car, he had been driving QR a bit. But then, you know, he's started driving Archie a hell of a lot, and then the car's, you know, a bit laggy, I guess. And, you know, he predominantly enjoys driving at Archie, so, you know, we sort of suggested, like, go for something a bit more responsive so you're not having to sort of, you know, kick the shit out of it as much, you know, to make it a more drivable car, you know, just to suit your course, you know what I mean? If there's a course that you drive predominantly, then why not, you know, set your car up to work better there.
Exactly,
So essentially, you know, I think that's sort of something he's done in the car, you know, by the looks of it. It obviously looks sick, and the new setup should be pretty sick. I think he went with the G25 550, which is what Adam runs on his 180, I believe. So the power should feel similar to his 180, and I guess hopefully it'll just be a matter of him getting used to you know, the front end setup, and he'll be right.
Yeah, cool.
So,
awesome.
That'd be sick.
I think he's stoked about the car and to be able to drive it, and then he's getting the great honour of driving my 350Z the other 2 days. So see how we go.
And so, what are the other 2 days?
The Tuesday and the Thursday are just you know, days run as normal. But yeah, they'll still be, obviously Adam will be there. He'll be, you know, happy to chat with people and all that sort of jazz. So you know, the Sunday one is definitely the headline event. You know what I mean? It's just sort of he's here. You know, well, and then the other two are like, you know, if you want to come and drive with him, it's still a pre-entry sort of thing, but we're not being, you know, anal about the people. Like, if your car's a bit smacked up or whatever, we're not gonna, you know, get up you. I'm not really stressed if my 350 ends up with another dent or two. Like, I'll be more sorry for the car that hits it than the actual.
Cool.
And to be fair, he's not gonna, you know, tap and do things to me as much as I would personally. So but it's good. We're getting some prototype GK Tech little bolt-on knuckles for it as well. So the car's actually going to have. It doesn't have any. It just has pieces at the moment. So, you know, it won't be wise fabby, but it'll definitely be, you know, a good bit of angle. So I think it'll be, it'll definitely be.
Definitely a good little Archie car for sure.
We had Ty Jeffries on a little while ago, and he's just commented that on the Tuesday he said he'll bring Saul from Low Ocean up as well to check it out. So
that'd be cool.
Yeah, awesome.
I actually caught up with one of the Polish dudes when I was in Japan just recently. From my brain's not working the best.
I watched some stuff. Is it the Doriminati guys or
No, they gold cars in gold team. Team with gold cars.
Ty, comment who they are.
I forget his name, but yeah, good dude, and yeah, the Polish scene's good, man.
Yeah.
I went over to Poland. Literally, I went over to Poland in 2010.
Yep.
I went for a trip to Poland. And yeah, the Polish guys were sick. Like it's funny because they copy everything. They do all their own copies of everything else. Like you can get copy wise fab in
Wow.
Poland. You can get copy everything kits wise. You can get all of that sort of stuff over there, and then you see all the guys running those steelies with a big dish.
Yeah.
So
I saw that in the Noriara video.
It's like they do a really good job at doing like copying and stuff like that. So there's some fucking crazy comp drivers in Poland as well.
Going on about the gold carving, the street carnage cars. He's a digger.
Yeah.
Looking forward to having him on in a little while. But Ty said it was the Doriminati guys, so maybe it is.
I think it might have been. Yeah. I think it's the dude that drives the Sora.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
I don't know. When I saw him, it's really fucking. It was so cold in Japan just recently.
Yeah, I bet.
The Honjo track day was -2 all day, and it was like,
mate, that's shorts and shirt.
That's
come
mint,
on.
well,
yeah,
I'd love that.
I used to live in Melbourne, but I'm a Queenslander now. When I got back, like people are whinging about this heat. I'm like, man, this heat is the best.
That's the same as my girlfriend. She's Korean, and it gets down to like -15 or more over there, and she's just like, it's amazing weather here, and I'm just like sweating, dying. I'm like, it's the worst. Awesome. Yeah. Well, anything else about the Adam LZ event?
I guess there's talk of going to do this. There's a new simulator place that's opening up, so we might be working along with those guys to do some sort of little event there. We'll see how that pans out. But I went and actually checked it out just before I went to Japan. This place is like fucking nuts. I didn't even know it existed here. Like it's not open yet, but it's this. Like it's the Sims that you drive in, but the Sims are like fucking 6 feet up in the air on hydraulic rams.
Oh wow!
Wow!
They've got a bar in there. They've got like all couches and pool table and everything. It's like
a
super rad place.
on steroids type shit.
Good.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah. So I don't. I'm not sure when it's all going to open and stuff. But I went and checked it out the other day, and I was like blown away by it.
Yeah.
It's literally just up the highway towards the airport in Brisbane. So
yeah, right.
That's it. Hells yeah.
That place is going to be pretty cool when it opens. I'm not a huge like simulator guy or anything, and I hate it when they move, but it still looked fucking impressive.
Yeah.
The guys there have designed it, so
no, definitely have to go and check that out. That'll be cool.
Yeah, awesome. When it opens, it's going to be a must too, because it definitely is wild. If you're into sim stuff, apparently this guy, the sims that he does are like crazy. So we're having a chat with him and talking about taking Adam there and doing a little like car meet thingy. There.
So is he here like Saturday to Saturday or?
Yeah, he's here Saturday till the following Monday.
Okay. Yeah.
So we've got some other stuff we're doing the following weekend, but it's not like a publicised thing.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, awesome.
That's awesome.
So yeah, he'll be in Queensland from the Saturday until the Friday morning sort of thing. And then we're going to go do some other stuff. Probably with my done car.
Do you know if he's selling any merch for anyone who's into that? Do you know if he's bringing any of that over?
Yes,
or?
I just put Adam LZ onto our greatest YouTuber in Australia, Mr. Jacob Peck. So,
yeah, I'd agree with that. He's Australia's greatest car YouTuber.
Yeah, he's Australia's greatest. Did I say Instagram? I meant YouTuber. Sorry.
Yeah, no, he said YouTuber. Yeah.
Basically, he's Australian's Adam LZ, mate. Let's put it that way.
I mean, his hair is the greatest hair in Australia. So.
Someone needs to literally do just do a copy and paste of his whole video and just do the counts on the hair touches. Yeah,
I'm keen for the compilation videos. It'd be amazing.
Even actually, Jacob, you should do it yourself on a video, and just put it at the bottom corner,
like a flick
it's
counter.
Just the hair flick counter. Just how many times you do it on your own video. It could be a fucking drinking game. Next time you're at home, put on a Pecky video, and you got to drink every time he touches his hair. You're going to be fucked up by the time you finish any of them videos. So
you'll be down on the floor before 5 minutes ends.
You're 5 seconds, you're having a chug them, literally.
So anyway, back on topic. He's got to be selling merch with Jacob.
No, so he was just because obviously to bring it all out would be kind of dumb to try and fill up massive suitcases with stuff. We'll just he needed to be put on with someone that makes shirts, and obviously Pecky's printing on shirts at the moment. So I thought it would help out Pecky's YouTube fame.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's awesome. That's awesome.
I don't know if you'd want to bring him down to a level to talk to someone like, Adam LZ when he's where he is. But Pecky will, hopefully they'll be able to work something out and he'll print some shirts out and Adam will have them because, he was just asking, is it worth me doing merch? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I think so, for sure. Yeah.
We're a long way away, so when people come out with merch, people tend to snap it up, When we brought Nakamura over back in the day, he brought rocket covers and he was selling for $4 each, and they were all gone straight away.
Oh
you know what I mean? People, grab onto that shit.
Plus we were at 68 cents to 1 AUD to American dollar. So buying a shirt and getting it shipped over, that's pretty damn expensive. So that's awesome.
Yeah, but you could win a 33.
Yeah.
He's already fully aware that they're Australia's most loved vehicle.
It's like almost the Commodore these days.
It's the Japanese Commodore that made it to Australia.
Especially when it's dumb though, because they're a fucking good car.
Oh, they are. They're great.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, they're just done so wrong. They're in my opinion, they're like Supras. Supras can be such a nice car. It's just
it's very easy to do wrong.
Of them easily do them wrong. It's simple. Wheels and load, just like any other car.
Yeah,
exactly.
Put a kit on it. Put a Redox kit on it and load. Simple.
33 4-doors.
I love 4-doors.
Yeah. I've owned 3 of those.
Yeah. Love them.
I love my 33 4-doors.
Yeah.
Deck one was a good one. I loved it.
Have we got any closing things that you want to say so that people can go to bed?
I dribble on a bit. Probably more back to it's just a nice thing to do, I guess. The tour that I went on in Japan. With the No Doubt Drift Tour guys. I guess when a lot of people look at these sort of trips and they're like, oh, it's 10 grand. It's 10 grand. It's it costs you that much to go to Ibisu.
Oh, it cost me 14 grand my last trip, and I'd already owned my car, and it was 14 grand. So
and then you consider that if you broke it,
which
you still have to pay for it. You know what I mean?
Mine's still broken. I still have to fix it. It's going to cost me more for next time.
So these guys are doing these trips for 10k, and you get to drive 4 different tracks.
Wow.
Which you would, a couple of them, you wouldn't, how the hell are you going to get to Honjo with the car?
Yeah. What are the other tracks that you get to drive?
We went to Fuji. We did Fuji, and we did Nikko. Okay. Mabora was meant to be on the itinerary, but the event we were meant to do was sold out, and then the other event was an all SR event, and only 2 of the cars were SR, and so it was just sort of, we decided not to do it just because only 2 cars would get to be driven, and with the way they run their events over there, it would suck with the session situation. But I think the next tour in April, they're planning to go down south and do tracks more down south as well. So Mihan and places like that, which is I think they want to do Suzuka Twin and some other cool tracks.
This is
like,
interesting me a lot.
We might actually have to consider getting them on the show.
Yeah. Well, the sick thing is the fact that you can, they had 4 or 5 cars, so it sort of ends up being like 2 people to a car.
Okay.
But you weren't just stuck with that one car. If you wanted to like drive the JZX 100 more, you could.
Okay.
If you wanted to drive S15 more, and then there was the Laurel there that had the 26 in it, which I really wanted to drive, but I was too fat to fit in the seat, so I couldn't drive that. But the guys that run the tours are working on getting bigger seats for their rental cars and stuff as well. So
cool.
That's awesome.
It's a cool thing, man. And like, I think the guys at Abisu, which is the Formance guys, which are doing that thing there, is still awesome and cheap. But I think this is a really good option as well, because it's not just a drift tour. You're there for 2 weeks and you visit workshops and then actually getting to drift as well, which was sick. You know what I mean? So
hells yeah.
To me, it really was
it's
a
like
cool
a drift
side
Kentucky
of it
tour.
it totally was. So those guys brought me along. So I'm not just talking up for the fact that they brought me along. It is fun, and I'll probably be going on the next one as well, hopefully.
And how can people find them if they're interested in them?
It's no doubt drifting.
Okay. On Facebook and stuff.
Yeah. I think just look it up as no doubt drifting. It'll come up. But
awesome.
Benky's the guy that runs it. He drives a 1Via. My wife's old 1Via. He drives at Archie all the time. It's a bit beaten up.
Yeah, right.
But he's the guy that organises the tours. So
awesome.
I can't recommend it enough, and it was really absolutely worth the money being able to just drive all these different places. And we drove the cars to the tracks.
That's an experience in itself.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That especially the other guys on the trip were just blown away by the fact that you got chucked these to an pink wide-bodied kitted S15 with no rear bar. Well, it had a rear bar first event. It was after that it didn't have a rear.
Do you get to so obviously you were near Fuji. Did you get to drive Hakone or anything like that, in the cars? Is that an option?
Did I get to what? Sorry,
drive Hakone in the cars, because obviously you were near Fuji and stuff like that. Yeah, like the Hakone Skyline.
So part of the trip was we were actually going to be going street drifting. Was part of the itinerary on this trip.
Yeah, right.
The only car that's actually registered and not just on flash plates was the Laurel. The Laurel got blown up, so I was like, fuck.
Right.
Unfortunately, we didn't get to actually go street drifting, but that was on the itinerary for that trip. So it was just sort of shitty luck more than anything. But they did do a drive of the Hakone before I got there, because I didn't turn up there until 3 days into the trip.
Okay. Yep.
They did the turnpike.
Yep.
With a GTR in the van, but the guys took turns in the GTR and stuff like that. So that was pretty sick.
Yeah, that's
obviously
awesome. Yeah. Wow. That's
things
awesome.
So it definitely,
you get your money.
There's always going to be people that don't realise how much that shit costs. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, for sure. No, that's awesome. That's awesome.
That's really something I wanted to talk about. And it was just it was cool. And I guess because they bring on that tour was myself, but obviously the guy that runs the tour, and then my wife was there as well. We could help with any level of driving, so it was quite good from that point of view. Luckily for me, all the guys that came on the trip were pretty decent drivers. All of them were Archie locals, so
True.
All the guys could send it pretty hard. So we didn't really. it was more of a mate's trip, so it worked out pretty cool.
Yeah.
But,
so you were there as like a guest to like help out, essentially, was it?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
So I just got a cheaper trip and to help out essentially.
Yeah, awesome.
And be part of it. But it was cool, man. Like there's totally the value in it. And like you said, even you can buy a car from Power Vehicles and blow the engine the next day, sort of thing. Like this trip, we actually had 2 cars blow up. We had one of the other cars blew up on the second track day, and it was just super bad luck for the guys that are renting the cars, because it was not the guys on our tour, but the guys that were renting the cars to us or whatever.
Yeah.
They did the old, the Autobahn stitch up where they sell you an S15 oil filter instead of an S13 oil filter.
Oh, no.
They pop off.
Yep.
Oh, no way.
We had that stitch up at Honjo Circuit, and luckily I just got out of the car, and then another guy on the tour had jumped in, and then it happened like 2 laps later. So I'm happy it didn't happen while I was in the car, but it was just like, it went to the point, like, he didn't notice that it had dumped the oil out. It didn't go under the tyres. Like, there was barely, the oil must have just gone straight out and then engine seat. Yeah. So it was just both engine failures were super unfortunate, but the other cars were still super reliable, and anything, like, we had a crank angle sensor go bad on the S15 when we were at Fuji, and the guy not Fuji and Nico, and the guys had it fixed like straight away. And
cool.
Plenty. The trip includes tires and fuel. Like, you literally pay that 10K, and then other than that, you just pay for. And then they give you an allowance each day. Each track day, you've got an allowance for food as well. But other than that, you pay for your own food, and then if you go off doing other things that aren't related to the tour, you pay for those.
Yeah. Was it including flights too in the 10K?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Huh.
It's actually fucking cheap.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how they do it. So
that's
obviously,
awesome.
They've worked it out, and obviously the guys they get the cars off are probably doing a pretty good rate on the cars. And just being a Japanese track day, they're not like Australian track days. You don't go through 10, 20 tyres. Because you go out in sessions and that sort of thing, you just don't kill tyres like you would. You still get like a good amount of track time. It's just not... if you've experienced a track day outside of Ibisu,
and that's it. You can't go to those tracks. Like, it's not just like, oh, I'm just gonna buy a car and drive and go and do Honjo Circuit. Like, it's just not gonna fucking happen. No way.
Honjo's fucking sick.
Yeah,
as well. It's so cool. And the day we went to was actually a Vertex day. So Ueno was there, Yoshinori, and some other D1 FD drivers and stuff like that. So it was a pretty cool day that we went to. So it was that's all. I just wanted to give that little plug to the boys, because I appreciated the trip for sure. And
it sounds amazing.
Yeah, awesome.
It's generally something you want to get onto if you want to go drift in Japan, because it's so fucking expensive to do it by yourself now. And jump on something like that for 10K, it's totally worth it. So
100%.
Getting to drive, the S15 and the JZX100 and shit on the street was fucking cool.
For sure.
Even after waking up early, driving all the way out to a track, then going and getting a nice dinner, and then continuing to drive back to the hotel, and it's getting a bit dicey because you're getting a bit tired. It's still a lot of fun.
For sure.
Swap drivers at that point. It's not like you're. It's not hard to find another driver that's keen to drive one of the race cars. So you're driving these cars without bumpers and shit on the, with slash plates on the road. Like the JZX100's got like a tubed rear end and stuff, and they don't run a bumper on it, so you can actually see the tube work, and it's super cool. So
that's awesome. That's sick.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
So I think the next one is in April, so
hopefully
that's
a good time of year too. You got your if they go down that way,
the only thing that really fucking sucks is cold.
Well, it is the wrong time of year doing it in like January, December. Like if they go like October, November, April, May, that's damn good times.
Part of the trip was Auto Salon.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Yeah, awesome. Was it good?
Yeah, it was sick. So they organised all the tickets and everything, and we actually got to go on the media day, which was no big crowds. There's still a lot of people there, but it's like the media day, which the public aren't allowed into until like 2:00 in the afternoon.
Right.
So we were there all morning and sort of could actually walk around and talk to people. And, you know, for me personally, it was good to catch up with, you know, a lot of people that we haven't seen for a while. Or gave Nakamura shit and asked him if he had Knuckles put in his S15 yet so he can drive it sideways. And I just had like good. It was a good time to actually go there and catch up with some people. And you know, it was a really good opportunity to actually see some stuff without crazy crowds and have a chat. And like that. So for the guys on the tour that hadn't met people, I think that was probably a cool thing as well, because I just saw a lot of my friends personally there, like Robbie. For some reason, everyone on the tour walked off just as Robbie Nishida walked past, and we had a good chat. And he ended up coming out to Honjo anyway. But it was just like that would have been a good opportunity for the guys to meet him. But then also there was like some pretty sick cars just down from where we were that obviously grabbed the boys' attention. So I guess meeting all those people and all that sort of jazz was all a really good part of it. So, I don't know exactly what's planned for the next one, but I do know that the plan is to head down south.
Mayhan would be fucking rad.
Oh, man, I'm dying to drive Mayhan. I'm dying to drive Mayhan so bad.
That'd be so good.
That's definitely one I'm keen for.
Awesome.
And there was some other tracks I was talking about doing. We nearly went to... God, I'm so terrible with names and stuff, I guess. But that track that Alexi went to with it's super tight with all the walls and stuff. I think you went
Yamanashi Sportsland?
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to fucking drive that
that's
place.
one of my top 5 bucket list ones.
Yes. So when Mabora was cancelled, we were going to go there, but it fucking snowed.
Oh, dude.
Because it's obviously up in the hills. It's literally open this time of year, but it says to ring them beforehand, and we couldn't get there because of the snow. It was like, oh, that is like definitely a track I want to hit. So the guys in the tour made their best effort to try and replace the Mabora day, but you know they can only do what they can do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
It's not like there's track days every single day in Japan. There's a lot, but you know.
That's right.
A bit more difficult. So no, it was definitely sick, and I'm looking forward to the next one. It's always fun in Japan. And 2 weeks is like a good amount of time. I think. Like me personally, I've been a lot, but once you get to that like 2 week point, it's like, all right, I want to go home and have a steak. It doesn't cost $50 now.
I reckon a steak's way cheaper in Japan than Australia. What type of steak are you having, man? No, way. Damn, what are you on about? Where do you get non-$50 steak in Australia? Come on.
You get down at Forest Lake Tab.
Mate, I live at Forest Lake. Come on.
You go and get the 200-gram steak and the freaking with the ribs as well. It's only $30.
Oh damn! I might have to go there.
Most amount of beef I've had in ages.
Oh, we do have a comment from the guys running it.
It's like they're aiming for Yamanashi, Mayhan, and Tamada Sportsland and Suzuka Twin.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Trip. That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
That is a fucking sick tour.
I need to get myself on that list somehow.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah. Dude, hit us up after this and we'll organise a podcast with you.
If you're still watching, add your, I don't know, tell these guys whatever your details are to go to the website. So
we'll share that later on for sure.
Absolutely something to get onto. Other than that, hope to see everybody at Archie this year. Hopefully, if everything goes good, I'll have all these new lights put up before this Thursday. So sorry, not Thursday. When do we don't open Thursday. Feb 3rd is our next event. Sorry. But we're hoping to have all the lights up before Feb 3rd. Not that it'll matter because that's a day event, but we're hoping to have it all done by then anyway. But then we'll be open, I believe, Tuesday and Thursday that week as well. So that's when we'll be able to get those lights on, and hopefully with the amount of lights we've got, we should have a lot of really nice light in the pits now.
Yep.
And the corner near pit entry should be a lot more lit up. And also before the NMLZ event comes around, we're planning to put new asphalt, not asphalt, but the ground up asphalt in the pits. So should get rid of a lot of the dust and smooth out the pits quite a bit. So we're getting a roller in, we're going to wet it and try and been talking to a lot of people trying to work out a way to get the pits like more comfortable for everybody without the expense of asphalting them. So we're trying to work out a budget conscious way of making it a bit more pleasant to be laying on the ground under your car. Other than that, it'll be sort of business as usual. Tyre shop's all there on site. I believe prices are staying the same. I don't think we're doing any price increase or anything like that. It's staying $60 to drive on a Thursday and Tuesday, and just $10 to get in.
Awesome. Cool.
That's about it, boys.
Awesome. Yeah, well, it's been really good talking to you, man. I've definitely learned a lot, and really keen for the Adam LZ event and the future DCA events at Archie and stuff. So
the Mount Gambier one sounds like
that Mount Gambier one's going to be fucking awesome. So,
we're hoping to really pump the shit out of the Mount Gambier one. And I've even mentioned that to Adam. He's pretty keen to get involved in that event as well if the time works out. So
that'd be awesome.
It's I can't even explain how nuts that track is. It's super, super fun. So,
awesome.
And then the fact that we're going to run it forwards and backwards this year is going to be sick as well.
Plus a 3-day Matsuri and Cash Kings at the same event is like fucking
Oh, dude, Cash Kings on that track, Cash Kings is get fucking wild.
Especially if you're going to have Japanese drivers coming over for that and stuff, man. That's going to be a big event. That's going to be a big event.
Yeah, I think there'll be some more than just one wheel lift over that mount. Could get a bit wild. So,
hopefully it does get a bit wild.
I'm keen.
Awesome, dude. Thanks heaps for coming on, hey, and we'll definitely chat to you at the event.
Guys.
Man. Catch you soon.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it as well. So it's a good opportunity to sort of let people know things behind the scenes as well. With it's not as all as it seems. It's with places, especially like Archie. Where sort of make up their own ideas on how things are, and understand the sort of things behind it that force us to do things the way we do it, and things like that. So it's not. Let people know about that. So I appreciate it, and I'll see all you guys soon.
Yeah, sure will, man. Have a good one,
awesome, man. Thank you.
Thanks,
guys.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Sweet.
All right. If we can bring the comments back up, can we scroll back? Benky dropped the website. I don't know. Can we scroll back? Yeah, we can. So if you're interested in the drift tours, the website is www.howtodrift. how-to-drift.com.
Yep.
Sounds like an awesome trip. I'm like,
we'll definitely have to get those guys on, especially closer to that
100%
thing.
Sounds awesome.
That's awesome.
I'm actually really keen. I wonder if I'll just sell everything. I'll sell my cars. I'm gonna do that. That'd be awesome.
Any news that you can think of off the top of your head?
Not really. It's all been New Year's, Christmas stuff. So.
There's not too much going on, especially overseas at the moment, because it is, as Luke said, covered in snow. So everyone's in that build phase. But we've definitely got Archie coming back online, and we've got Halfway Hangs coming up.
Halfway Hangs would be sick. I wish I could go.
That's going to be a damn big weekend with the Halfway Hangs and the Adam LZ event. And I know that Jacob Peck is going to be at both, so good luck to him with that.
That's gonna be a hectic time.
Other than that, guys, we will catch you in the next one. This has been a pretty long episode, but I think it's been pretty
100% worth the listen.
So awesome. Well, you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook,
and catch us on all the usual podcast websites, including Spotify and Google Podcasts. So.
And if you want to go drifting with Ben on Assetto Corsa, he's
I've been posting up the links. I need to start a new Discord. We got locked out of our old one, so but that's all good. Just follow the links or search the Drift Podcast whenever we're up and come jam. That'd be sick.
Awesome, guys. Well, thanks for that, and we will definitely be catching you again very soon.
Take it easy, guys. Thanks for listening.
Bye.